Alrighty, race 2, the final race of the night, a split green. We're at Imola. This is always an absolute barn burner. So you don't want to look away now. We've still got 34 cars, a bit of gaps. Will we see a clean race? I think we will. I'm happy, I'm confident. Let's get back further here. Just wait for the lights to go green. There's a bit of a delay here at the Imola, especially on the race 2. We wait, and we're away. Nice start from the Porsche. Absolutely mugs that Nissan and we're dead. We've lasted 12 fucking meters, and then you've done this. You're literally 6 wide. What is wrong with you?
This is the owner of the community who cursed this race, everyone.
And thank you very much. That is how you curse a split. I'm your host, Mullock, and thank you for joining. See you next week.
He said he wanted to call it, but he cursed it. That was
the worst marshal in ACC.
Mario the Marshal.
Mario
is doing a perfect job.
Mario is a moron.
In his defense, who the fuck expects a yellow flag that soon after the start of the race?
But just to know how many cars he hits.
Nothing to see here. Everything's fine. Green flag. Keep coming through. Keep coming through. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Keep coming. Keep coming.
Wait,
no, Mike. No. We can't have a Honda through.
Hold on.
Yellow flag.
Uh-oh.
Slow down, guys. Slow down.
All of the time, you must leave the space.
I know, my wife, he's given up. He's just said, nah, fuck this. Why am I at this track?
Smoko, please.
Well, yes, what a trip down memory lane that was. Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 5 of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series here from the Autodromo International Enzo Dina Ferrari, better known, as we heard from our glorious leader, Mullock himself, as Imola. My name is Alexis Bowen, and joining me tonight for Split Yellow is the wonderful Blake Griffiths. How are you, Blake?
I'm very, very well, thanks. How are you doing, Alexis?
Doing fantastic, especially after that little moment from our past where we've had a lot of drama. Definitely a few issues with the marshals. Hopefully that marshal has been promptly fired and we don't have to deal with that tonight. But interestingly enough, we've got rain.
And lots of it by the looks of it. It's going to be a little bit spicy here for at least race 1.
Oh, definitely. Well, rain is decreasing in 30 minutes, but this qualifying section is most definitely going to remain wet and affected. It's just how that transpires into race conditions as we watch on with Marsh as he runs through the Variante Alta. Very, very tricky in many cars unless you've got a big, bulky front engine car that can just fly over the curbs. Coming down now through 16 and into 17. The first of the Ravazzas gets a little bit deep, as you would expect in these conditions. Don't think many would have practiced in these wet conditions as he gets all loose coming out the second Ravazza, but he's going to come up to the line through 19 and up into... Well, he's got to get up to the line first, a little bit further along, and I think that was just an outlap.
Yeah, I believe our qualifying one should be 12 minutes, so I'm surprised maybe we're just not seeing some times yet.
48 flat, that is what you would expect from Lamb, who has been pretty much perfect. In fact, why am I saying pretty much? He has been perfect all season in Split Yellow. He's scored the maximum points out of every weekend so far.
My favorite day of the weekend, Tuesday night.
But it's Wednesday.
No!
What? I mean, hey, that does give us a nice little segue into the mention of the Academy series. I'm pretty sure that's still running on the Tuesday nights.
Yeah, that's probably why I said Tuesday night, because my race is on Tuesday night. I'm still running in the Academy series for the rest of this season. But yeah, it's a pretty good time for Matthew Lamb, setting the benchmark. Looks like it may be yet to be beaten. I wonder how many people got their gumboots on and did training out in the rain for this week.
I would say a grand total of -1. And wow, that is some gap back to Benjamin Piper there, 1.6 seconds. In fact, looks like we're missing quite a few of our pro class drivers. We've only got Lamb, McDowell, and Johnson from the pro class. 19 out there at the moment. Hopefully that isn't indicative of what's going to remain throughout the week, but we can still have plenty of great racing action with 19 cars out there. Significantly more McLarens and Porsches than pretty much any other kind of fact. You can count the variability of the manufacturers pretty much on one hand, bar, say, the Audi and the Bentley there.
Yeah, this split is, I like it. It's a bit of like almost, I don't know, Trident, Triple Crown. There's a lot of Ferraris, a lot of Porsches, a lot of McLarens in this one. Ferrari's not a very great turnout this week, though.
Yeah, and you've got the same number of Ferraris as what you do Mustangs, which is, I'd say, about right. Mustangs have been a pretty popular car since they were added into Assetto Corsa Competizione, about a year ago at this point now. It's been a while. As Johnson jumps up in the P3 just behind the boat of Benjamin Piper. They're now only 1.2 seconds away from Matthew Lamb, who, as we've been saying, has been excellent so far this season. And as much as rain is the great equalizer for many, when you're as dominant as Lamb has been, not so much in this scenario.
Yeah, Slady just coming in, sliding into P2, just a whole second behind Matty Lamb, but it's good effort from Kafil Slade.
Definitely is.
Ooh.
Race control has returned, and we can say good evening to the chat, and we'll have a good look at the chat now. Hello, Mr. Carbon, Babby, Peach, Rob Underwood, Smitty. Of course, our great During Drift, aka Blake, in the comms box here. Murray Stowe, myself, Bowles, who I believe is on stewarding duty once again. He's been a great steward, as have all the stewards we've got. Really, they do a fantastic jobs, and they're all just volunteering their time. So, got to give a quick shout to them, and also a shout out to our broadcaster Glenn, who does a huge amount of work in Octane Online Racing alongside fellow admin Matt, and yeah, they all do a really, really solid job to keep the league afloat. We've got to give a big hats off to them.
Someone's in chat asking how my race was. This isn't about me, so I'll be very, very quick. My first race, it was a transitional race from wet to dry. I've not really dealt with that. I chucked on the wet tires, and then I got scared they were going to explode. So I tried to pit, and then I really, really messed up my pit, and I got a speeding and pit penalty. So that race was a wash. I was running in P2, but ended up like dead last. And second race, P3, a really nice race. It was a fully wet race as well, just like the conditions we're seeing now. So that was my first podium in OOL. Very, very stoked. Yeah. Congrats
on that, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you in the Sprint Series at some point throughout the new year. Of course, this Sprint Series will be rounding out the year of 2024 here at Octane Online Racing, but of course do keep an eye on the community, as I'm sure there'll be plenty of events over the off season and over the Christmas New Year period. But I think it's just a good time for all of us to catch a break and spend some time with friends, family, and whoever else we can find around. Meanwhile, all the gaps have started to come down. It's now 0.6 to Lamb. Piper, sitting in third, is only 0.05 behind Slade, who sits in second in the sole Audi in this split. It's going to be a nice lap so far as Matthew Lamb decides, 0.6, that's not good enough. Let's make that 1.4 seconds if you don't mind, as he sets a 1:47.2. That is immense.
That's monster. Absolutely monster. Benny Piper coming back to be within a second, but my word, Matthew Lamb just saying, not tonight. This is mine. P1 is mine.
Yeah, and he's already parked it in the pits. I'd say he's pretty safe there with that 47.2. Track has been improving, and it's going to keep improving, but still it takes a lot to get the lap times out of it. McDowell briefly in the P3 as Slade re-overtakes and gets up in the P3, just 15 thousandths clear of the 213 Pro Porsche. K in the pits. Jerry has finished Darth there in P7, still on a lap by the looks of it, and seems to be coming through the final few corners now. We'll hold on with Benjamin Piper, who will be one of the last drivers to cross the line. Is still a few further back, 19 and the 560. Hasn't been a great lap thus far for Benjamin Piper. He's still got to find a few tenths, but you'd think, given that he's in P2, it's probably about the best he'll be able to do, and leading the silver class away from the start here at Imola will probably be a good thing for him, and he'll take a lot of confidence with it. That's a great run through the Variante Alta, but just can't quite get the exit speed down. Coming up now to the Ravazzas. Brakes very, very late into the first Ravazza, sorry, and yeah, he's just lost all the time, so that will pretty much call it there for Piper. The number 19 further back is still on a lap, but not sure what it's going to be. But yeah, Piper will remain in P2 and 9/10 off. Lim has not set a lap time and won't set a lap time in this, so P19 for the number 19, but Matthew Lamb just dominant. Completely dominant in that session.
Yeah, there's literally no more words for it. Just continuing this run of form, Matthew Lamb. So, it looks like we're in for a wet race. 30 minutes, rain still on the radar. It keeps it nice and simple.
Yes, indeed. So, got 2.5 minutes to go until we get underway with this first race, and with it being wet, no mandatory pit stops for these drivers. It should make it nice and interesting, should keep all the racing out there on the circuit, and with it being wet, there's always opportunities for drivers to make plenty of mistakes. But that qualifying session was actually pretty solid from a lot of the drivers.
Yeah, it's so easy to make mistakes in the wet, and around Imola, the curbs here are pretty nasty. A lot of the inside curbs of the corners are pretty fine. You can take them as you would in the dry, but a lot of the exit curbing is a bit of a death sentence. You can definitely take it. That steering input has got to be null, and you got to be really careful on your throttle.
Yep, pretty much. So just looking at the settings here, it will be 2 30-minute races we have. The second of the races, the top 10 will be reversed, and 11 through P19 will go into Q2, which will be an 8-minute session at 8 a.m. server time. So we get the afternoon races, then we get the nice early morning races as well. So that will be the format we run throughout the whole round here, from Split Yellow right now all the way through to the North American split on Friday.
I just realised, I don't know if Glenn was trying to gesture that to us, but Slady is in the Audi for the rest of the season and not the Ferrari.
Yes, that is a fair point to make. Yes, I did not notice that. It has been a few weeks since we've last had a look at these Split Yellow drivers, so I'm sure there's probably been a few changes throughout the grid. I'll have to take a look to see if there's any that I can spot.
I mean, that's one of our Ferraris gone, from my Trident metaphor earlier.
Yep. So I'd say the Ferrari has been a little bit of a unpopular choice, but going into the Audi is certainly one of the choices of all time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I mean,
Interesting
so far, it's giving him some good effect. As currently he sits P3 in the silver standings, but a long way back from second place Benjamin Piper, and well, Jerry is leading the way in the silver class on 335 points, and Jerry down in P7. So I'd say Slady's probably made a reasonable decision and seems to be acclimatizing well to the Audi.
I believe we had another Audi in this split, but it looks like they may have changed as well. I wanted to say it was Paul Britt, but they're in a McLaren now. But they haven't raced since, I think, round 2 either. So, hard to say.
From what I'm seeing, yeah, raced in round 1 and round 3, but no other rounds beyond that.
As we get underway with our formation lap, Matty Lamb bringing them around, everyone in single file.
Oh dear, Marsh has forgot to hit drive, so straight to the back of the field you go. Thankfully for Marsh, it's only a 19-car grid, but that will be devastating news, and he'll be looking to move up the field to potentially get a reverse grid pole for race 2. I think that's another thing with having less drivers. It gives opportunities for some that may be a bit further down to really shine out front and show what they're made of.
Did you see where Marsh was in terms of qualifying position?
I did not. Either way, it wasn't as far back as P19. I know that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a step backwards. It's unfortunate. I don't know. Maybe the pressures were all off, or something, like fiddling with setup and didn't quite hit drive in time.
Yeah, there's a multitude of reasons as to why that can happen. Like, this is probably a bit of a stupid question, but who do you think is going to take it out in this first race?
Come on. Do you want me to give you my P2 prediction?
I mean, if you'd like, if you think that would provide more variability, because I feel that both of us are on a song that, yeah, Matthew Lamb's going to be very, very hard to beat tonight.
I think if we are going... I mean, I think this is a biased pick, but I almost want to pick old Lukey Johnson in the 119 McLaren. He's
nice.
He was very good in the wet in Kailami, actually. I'm surprised to see him qualify so far down. But yeah, he was monster in Kailami after the I'm not sure if it was a disconnect or tech issues, but he was, like, you know, really scuppered climbing back through. What about you?
I would probably put my money on Slade, but we are about to get underway with this one. We've got 30 minutes here at Imola. We'll be coming up to the green light very, very shortly. It's Lamb from Piper, Slade, McDowell, Kay, Wells, Jerry, Darth, Johnson and Winton, and we are underway, and it's a great start from Lamb, who consolidates his lead nicely. Slade is putting Piper under pressure as we run into the Tamburello chicane, and Slade gets the inside line and through. As further back, there's a few drivers going off, but no real collisions of note so far. The rejoins have been pretty solid, so I think they managed to escape trouble so far, but there's still another, what, 2/3 of the lap to go as we watch on now with Richard Wells, who has dropped down a little bit. Has he? Yeah, he's down to P7 behind Jerry, so that's unfortunate for him. But out front, Lamb's gotten off to a dream start with Slade doing nicely to get the hold shot in the Audi. Piper dropping down to P3, but still ahead of McDowell. Then we had Kay, Jerry, Wells, Johnson, Darth, and Yao. The top 10 will continue on as we run through Piratello. Very easy to run wide, as we see in the background from the McLaren. That is Johnson there, who is now under pressure from Chris Darth. Can Darth do anything? It's going to be hard to do it into Aquaman Arali, and doesn't. So Johnson stays in P8 for now in the Castrol livery McLaren. Kay putting the pressure onto McDowell, but Variante Alta, another place where you just cannot make a move because it's just basically single file traffic through there, as they all hold steady, hold order, as further back Marsh, who has come out of the pit lane, is struggling right now to get temperature into the tyres. So could be a long race for Hayden Marsh at the back, but it is still Lamb, Slade, Piper, McDowell, Kay, Jerry, Wells, Johnson, Darth, and Yao as we finish the first lap here at Imola.
Yeah, the only positive I would be taking for Marsh down the bottom there is there's no spray to contend with, so you're just lapping by yourself until you catch up to the back of the pack. Oh, these guys are much braver than I, taking those curbs on the entry to Tamburello. Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, it's not easy to do by far, but these drivers are really, really solid. They're some of the best in the Asia Pacific region, so it's no surprise that they're pushing it, especially when you're looking at a Piper in the Boatley that I think can really attack the curves in pretty much any conditions. Plus, I think, despite the track being wet, it's not as wet as it theoretically could be, especially with the rain continuing to decrease as this race goes on. Continuing on through towards Ackerman O'Reilly, we jump onto Johnson, who's chasing after Wells, who after his shoddy start seems to be getting into a bit of a rhythm in a train behind Kay and Jerry. Kay and the Porsche just losing touch to the Porsche McDowell, who equally losing touch to Piper, and everyone in front just losing touch to Lamb, as that is a bit of a botched Variante Alta from Luke Johnson there, who gets all sorts of loose on the exit, and he won't be put under too much pressure from Darth, who's still a little bit further back, but he can't be making too many mistakes like that if he wants to push on towards the predicted P2 spot, as he continues to run deep into the first of the Ravazzas.
Don't do me like that. But yeah, Variante Alta is just like, I presume that Variante means variable in Italian, because it's literally like it's
Chicane.
a bit of a dice roll. It means chicane. Okay, interesting. But it is such a dice roll every time you go over there. It's so easy to get wrong. Even in the dry, you can just like do a bit of pogo sticking with the ACC physics. So Luke Johnson, a little bit wide, showing us that time how not to get it done. But we continue on.
Yep, so yeah, all of the Variante corners, yeah, they are all chicane. So Variante Tamburello is the Tamburello chicane, they have the Villeneuve chicane, and the, well, Variante Alta is just called Variante Alta. No one calls it the Alta chicane. That's just dumb.
Hey, watch me. I will. Darth closing that gap, actually. Johnson making a few too many mistakes, and yeah, Darth in the 248 Ferrari closing that gap. That looks like less than half a second to me now.
Yeah, Johnson's just been struggling to get those tires under wraps, so it seems that Darth could be on for a potential progression up the field into P8 where Luke Johnson is at the moment. But looks like that time Darth, who was in the spray, couldn't quite get the run through Variante Alta. There's one line, and if you don't get that one line, you're going to have a bad time. And now Yao is closing in as we run up to the first of the Ravazzas. Yao has a look down the inside. That's a dive and a half. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. The Porsche's brakes superior to the Ferrari on that occasion, and Yao is up to P9. So the attacker in Darth became the attacked once Yao came up to get past him at the first Ravazza. Great move.
That was a fantastic move. I'd love to see that from every angle. Top down, chase cam. It was so good. Came from way back there and sent it right down through the inside.
And yeah, he's messed up the Tamburello chicane now. And Darth, just can he get the run up to Villeneuve? You pretty much have to be side by side if you want to make a move there. And unfortunately for Darth, he just couldn't get the run. But they're both really struggling now. Yao's gone wide, and that's going to allow Darth straight back through. And will Spence follow? Yes, Spence does follow. So Yao, after gaining a position to P9, has dropped 2 positions down to P11.
That is so rough, but I guess that's just like racing in the wet for you. You know, it comes around, it goes around.
Yeah, it's essentially Russian roulette, although we are in Italy right now. But then again, if you have watched F1 pre-2007 or something, it was always the San Marino Grand Prix. Now it's the Emilia-Romagna's stupid long name Grand Prix.
You didn't want to have another crack at it?
What, the full track name?
Yeah, no. Oh, Yao having to cut the chicane. That's not what we need.
Not at all. Yeah, ever since Yao got that move, he's just been like, oh, wow, I actually got that. And I think it's got to the head a little bit and hasn't quite been as clean. But again, these wet conditions are very tricky as we look on with Kay, who seems to have made an error as Jerry and Johnson have moved up, and I'd say Wells has as well. No, I think Kay and Wells may have gone off at the same corner somewhere. So both Kay and Wells have dropped down positions.
Yeah, I think just regarding Yao, you gotta, maybe they're a little bit frazzled after the first couple of mistakes. Just gotta get the head right, get yourself level footing again, and get back on the horse. As we see a little bit of a dry line starting to appear. Maybe it's still raining though.
It's not going to stop raining. I think it's just the fact that there are cars running, so there's a part of the track that is a little bit drier than the rest of it. But
Yeah.
they'll still be following that line with no issues. There's meanwhile with Lamb's 8-second lead or something like that, Slade is now coming under pressure from Piper, who is only 0.6 back. So the fight for Peter is definitely on. McDowell seemingly can't close in on the two of them.
Yeah, just to point out our P1 runner, who does this nearly every time, 7.5 seconds ahead of P2, as you do.
We've already got the question from Page. How many laps until Matt is P1 in the second race? And when you're asking that with only 9 minutes into the first race, that's certainly ominous signs, you would dare say.
Still plenty of great racing to be had back here, as we have Liam Kay just ahead of Wells. As we have a bit of a replay. This is Wells and Kay, I believe. As Wells looks to the inside. Oh, that's not really going to happen.
That's a bit clumsy. Trying to redress that has lost positions to both Kay, which, to be fair, that's fair, but also Johnson. So bit self-inflicted there from Wells. You're never really going to get moves done into the Variante Alta unless you're already side by side going into the corner.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a low percentage move, and he definitely paid the big price for that one. But gotta keep looking forward. Still 20 minutes in this short sprint race. Much to be done still. Only about 1.2 seconds behind Liam Kay and his Porsche.
Yes, indeed. And Kay just starting to close that gap to Johnson now as we look on with Spence, who's, after capitalizing on Yao's mistake, it seems Yao has managed to rekindle some of his form, as well as picks up a 10-second penalty for that collision we just saw with Kay earlier on.
Does need to be said, Hayden Marsh has moved up from last into 18th, so well done.
Get the party poppers out. That's been pretty good so far from
the champagne on the podium meme when you get the bronze medal.
Yeah, no, that's a solid effort so far from Hayden Marsh, who not sure what happened with the missing the drive, but already up in the P18 and could still move up a few more positions yet with more than half a race go, as that is a nice drift from Wesley out. Getting the kudos points. Unfortunately, this isn't Project Gotham Racing.
No. Looking like something out of MF Ghost or something there in the rain.
Yes, certainly. But,
Yao's got pace, though, for sure. Like, he keeps catching up to these people, but he's just making mistakes. He's his own worst enemy right now.
Yeah, it's easy to do in these sorts of conditions, and you can see right there, just right a little bit wide, so perhaps pushing that a little bit too hard can get the pace out of it, but maybe just trying to find that little bit extra that just isn't quite there.
Yeah, it's a tough line to toe. Like, you gotta be aggressive, but in the wet you just get punished really hard for like it's so easy to outbrake yourself, and then you're too deep, and then you have to slow right down to make sure you get right around the corner. Like, it's just really, really tough. So I'd like to see Yao maybe cool off a little bit and keep it on the track, keep it between those white lines, and really get out Spence.
Yeah, and I think with driving in the wet as that is Wells stuck on the side of the road, he's pulled it up into the pits, and I'd say he's pretty much done with this race. So that means, well, he's P1 at the moment, but that will change pretty quick because he hasn't completed as much of the lap as everyone else. So, yeah, that will be race done there. But it means that Yao, who was originally fighting Spence for that reverse grip pole position, takes that provisionally with 17 minutes to go as Lamb continues to go faster and faster with a 46.3. He's 10.8 seconds clear of Slade. Youch.
Yeah, not what you want to see.
As I was saying before,
we might have a move on here for Spence. If he can get it pulled up alongside. Oof. He's having a look.
The McLaren doesn't have the straight line speed. Like, neither car really has a lot of straight line speed. That McLaren especially doesn't have the straight line speed. So really have to just capitalize on a mistake for Spence. But as I was saying before, driving in the wet, very much a confidence-driven business as we look at Wells, and that's a pretty common mistake to be making at Aqua Minerale. And has he just pulled it up and called it a day? Yep. So, yeah, no, that's pretty easy to do at Aqua Minerale, just getting a little bit wide onto the curb in the wet and slight spin off the track. There you go. GG.
It's not even that hard to do in the dry either. It's a really, really tricky corner or set of corners.
Definitely. And yeah, as Rob Underwood says in the chat, I think a lot of drivers spend a lot of time in the dry service, given they think that most of the time it's going to be dry. Like, you can 9 times out of 10 you can confidently say it's going to be dry. When you've got rounds that have variable weather like this, and as variable weather as it can be at Imola, it certainly makes it more spicy and dicey. Speaking of spicy and dicey, we might be on for one of those in a moment. Spence is closing in, coming down to Ravazza. Breaks late. Can he get the move done on Darth? We saw this earlier. If Yao goes a little bit deep, so Darth's going to get the run back in the second Ravazza, but now runs deep himself, and it's going to be a drag race as we run down towards the Variante Bassa and now towards turn 1 and 2 at Tamburello. But looks like Spencer's got it done. And Darth is just going to try and get the slipstream to get back side by side as we run up to Tamburello. Spence defends the inside that blocks Darth's path, and Darth comes back aggressively onto the racing line, blocking Yao's path to potentially get through. But that is a really well executed move from the McLaren of Tony Spence.
Was there a bit of a bump there as we are coming into the braking zone?
I don't think so, but that was nearly a bump there.
Oh, yeah, jumping over that curb. But yeah, really, really fantastic move from Spence there, side by side through the Ravazzas, and just getting it done along the straight. Well done.
Yep, it's a textbook sort of move, so really well executed, and hats off in that scenario. So yeah, up to P8. That would be solid points for Spence in the championship. We'll just have a quick look to see where he is. Yeah, so he's P9 overall, but P2 in the Pro-Am class, chasing after Kong, who is not here. Fun fact, they are on the same total, or same net points, I should say, as there is the drop round. So both on 250 points, but I'd say with the results that Spence could be getting tonight, especially with the reverse grid race coming up, could be a very, very solid night for the driver who will most likely take the Pro-Am class lead in Split Yellow.
Yeah, as we are just a smidge under halfway through this first race, and it looks like Yao is all over the wing of Darth in the 248 Ferrari. Is there a move to be had here, or are we not quite close enough?
The Porsche does... Well, that Porsche does have a reasonable sort of straight line speed, especially compared to that Ferrari. I mean, Porsche's straight line speed don't really go hand in hand in ACC, especially when you look at the old Porsche. But this Porsche is definitely a bit better, but he just seems to back out a little bit. I think Yao's just sort of trailing back a little bit on the aggression on the speed, and has seemingly found less mistakes as a result, so he's a bit more consistent, but maybe doesn't quite have the same pace that he had over Darth earlier on in the race. But it is closing in between these three once again, And I think I should also mention that Yao is only 40 points behind Spence at the moment in the standings.
Coming up to Piratella, sending it through a little bit of inside curb, a little bit of outside curb. Not too much trouble for Yao. He's gotten used to taking all those curbs as we come down into Aqua Minerale. Really, really great corner name, by the way. And Darth is getting very, very close to Spence now. These three are just in a bit of a brawl.
Yeah, it's a great brawl so far. Definitely the closest battle we have on track at the moment, though. Jerry closing in on McDowell. We'll see what happens there, as that Mustang very, very quick in a straight line, so could be challenging that Porsche. But we'll keep an eye on what Darth is doing as he runs very, very deep. Will that allow Yao through, or has to put the anchors on, hit the brakes, and avoids hitting the back of Darth, but now has a nice run coming out of the second Ravazza, going down towards the first turn at the Variante Tamburello, and Yao just not quite getting the straight line speed, but he's got the inside line. Who's going to break latest? It looks like it's pretty tight between the two of them, but Darth will just about hold on.
Yeah, Darth giving Yao plenty of room, but Yao not really able to make the most of it. So Darth comes out the winner here, but I don't think this is over yet. These two have fallen a fair bit far behind Spence, though, as actually Kidman's now come to play.
Yeah, that will just be courtesy of the mistake that Darth made at the first Ravazza, just going a bit wide.
Yeah, a shame for Yao wasn't able to get around him after he came off, so couldn't really.
Wait, that's another rock.
Yeah.
Got to keep an eye on the track limits around here, because it's very easy to just get one too many and get that pesky pit lane penalty. But given it's only a half-hour race, you would hope that not many have to deal with that fate. But you can tell that Darth is really struggling in what fellow racer Taufik states is slower than the Lamborghini tractor. So thank you, Pete, for that information, by the way, as now we see Yao potentially going for a move into the first Ravazza like he did earlier in the race. Is he going to get it done this time? Yes, he is. So up into P9, and now this is the battle for your reverse grid pole. It is Darth and Kidman for the final 10 minutes, with Bryce Davies not too far behind.
Yeah, really, really nicely done by Yao once again. He actually,
easy for Kidman.
God, that Ford.
A little bit of a bump there. I don't know what happened there. They both seem to just merge into each other, but no damage done as Darth tries to get the run on the exit, but he's just going to run wide, and that's Kidman up to P10.
Yeah, that Ford making breakfast of that Ferrari, unfortunately, down the straight. But can Kidman hold on? Darth has been very, very good, generally speaking, and not to disparage Kidman, but he kind of caught up due to the fact that there was a bit of unsavory business happening up ahead. So
yes,
see if this pressure can get to Kidman.
I think over the past few laps, Darth has just been struggling a lot more. As was there a little bump there, or was that just the Mustang being the Mustang?
I think that was just Mustang things.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, oh yeah, Darth's just
wide.
Yeah, I think Darth has just maybe got a little bit too hard on the Ferrari in the early stages races. He's really not having fun. As that is, crucially, that is Jeremy Sherry, who has spun out at the Ravazza corner. In fact, going into Ravazza, that is very odd indeed. Where's he going to come back onto the track? He's still in P7. We'll see. Spence going around the outside. Spence manages to get through, but what happened to Jeremy Sherry?
Chat says curbs, but God, Jerry in this Mustang looks like he's gonna again make breakfast of this McLaren down the straight. Oi, oi, oi.
We'll see. It's going to be a bit harder this time as he's only just getting side by side. but he does get later on the brakes and does get through. But he's compromised the line and a bit more contact just from Jerry going deep. That might be looked at by the stewards for Spence, but now Yao's going to get through. Yeah, it's just all turning from bad to worse for Jeremy Jerry, who is looking to fight up for P4 and is now looking to consign himself potentially to reverse grid pole or maybe even outside the top 10. Oh dear, Yao, I think that was just a brake lock. So Jerry back up in the P8.
Jerry got their work cut out for them as Yao already back on their rear wing. Oh, it's just looking really, really squirrely, that rear end. Maybe turn up the TC a touch, as we've got a replay here as we're looking at McDowell and Jerry side by side.
Just that tiniest little bit of contact with the front end of McDowell on the rear end of Jerry. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one for the stewards to negotiate and navigate their way around.
Yeah, I'll let them make that call. It's a bit hard to tell exactly what's happening from that kind of angle, but for now, Jerry, pedals in the metal, mate. Up we go.
Yep, in the Mustang that is the car and not the plane. As in the background, that's Darth getting back through on Kidman.
I told you. I called it.
It's been very close. I think Darth just maybe getting settled back down in this race and managing to put the pressure back on Kidman. But Price Davies has closed in a loss as well, so we can't discount Price Davies from potentially snagging that reverse grid pole and what would be, I believe, his best result in the Sprint Series so far.
Also, big shout out to Hayden Marsh, up to P16 after the pit lane start.
Brilliant.
Big money
Brilliant
moves.
stuff. Yeah, still got 5.5 minutes to go, so there is time yet. But yeah, no, certainly a lot going on. As here is Hayden Marsh. What's happened here? Things happened to Hayden Marsh. We're just looking on at the brilliance of his drive so far in the Taco Sport number 27.
So, do you think we're still on for Johnson P2? He's about...
Certainly, because, well, Slade's died somewhere.
Oh, he has two.
He's down to P5.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, 5.8 seconds, not happening, but still been a solid drive from Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's up about 3 or 4 positions. That's, ooh, Slady! That's too
Audi
much
things.
curb, mate. Too much curb. Yeah.
Audi things.
That Audi is a mean mother, that's for sure.
Yep. In Audi land, car kills you. Simples. As we'll have a look at what happened to Kafil Slade. Aqua Minerali. Yeah.
Aqua Minerali things.
Very similar incident to what happened to Wells, and he's just waited for the rejoin. Although that's gotten very tight with Johnson. They managed to avoid contact, and I'm guessing Slade just doesn't have the run, so Johnson does get through on the inside. Does he get through cleanly? Yes, he does. That's probably as good of a move as you'll ever see at Variante Alta.
You mean just Alta?
Yeah, that's close enough. Close enough. at least he didn't caught the Alta chicane.
Yeah.
No one does that.
That was actually the bit I meant to do, but that's okay. Riding along with Luke Johnson, this beautifully Castrol liveried McLaren. Got a bit of work to do if he wants to make my prediction come true, so chop chop, Luke.
Yeah, 3 minutes, surely, or else he's washed. As here is Hayden Marsh moving up into P14. No, Lim, oh dear, a little bit of contact from Spenceley behind, but manages to avoid anything too harsh. And I think, yeah, Lim, who went off track, just realizes, yeah, I'm not going to keep this position. I'm not going to risk the penalty. So Marsh, he's up to 14th.
Yeah, good stuff from Marsh. Decent recovery drive, really. There's still next race to play for, so learn what you will. But Lim is not done here. All over the wing. I think that's going to be a little bit too far back to get the move done at Ravatsa, unless Marsh goes wide.
Unless you do that, yeah.
Yeah. So Marsh gonna have to work at it again. As we got a little battle pack going here for P14.
Very nice to see as we look at Isaac Price Davies there in P12. He's chasing after Kidman, who is dropped 2.4 seconds behind Darth. So you'd say Darth is pretty much locked into that P10 reverse grid pole position. So solid effort from the 248. Hopefully his race 2 can be a little bit cleaner than his race 1. But overall, you'd dare say a lot of these drivers out there have done a very, very solid job to keep the car pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's had their fair share of little bit like their own moments, but
5
Dylan
seconds to
McDowell,
McDowell, and that would drop him behind Johnson. So Johnson wouldn't get P2, but he'd get on the podium.
oh come on, you had to give me something for that.
Oh, look, another 10
Yeah.
10 seconds. So McDowell's going to drop a long way down. Oh yeah, the leader, Matt Lamb. Don't know if you know about him. He's on his final lap now.
Is he a lap ahead of everyone yet?
Not quite, but we'll have a look at what the margin is back to Piper. It is, oh my lord, 20.4 seconds.
You'd think everyone else was on slicks or something. It's just absurd.
If everyone else was on slicks, he would have lapped everyone twice by now.
Yes, yeah, just a bit.
Hold on. Meanwhile, Marsh being put under pressure from Spenceley. Spenceley can't do anything about it. Marsh right now holding his own. You'd think just what could have been for Marsh had he have hit drive at the right time. But he'll have another race to think about it.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be all over it this time.
There you go. You can see McDowell after 15 seconds as Yao's actually gotten through on Spence. That is somewhat critical for your Pro-Am championship fight. In fact, I think Spence has made an error, a bit of a boo-boo.
So it looks like McDowell might drop to P7. My maths is not that good. They pay me to yap, they don't pay me to do maths.
Fair enough, but we'll have a look at Matthew Lamb. You haven't seen him all race, and this is why, because he's 22 seconds clear of everyone else. He takes the first race here, split yellow, with the fastest lap in tow, 46.3. Plisnerf, Benjamin Piper coming home in P2 and taking the silver class win after a little bit of a fight there with Kafil Slade, who dropped down after Aqua Minerali moment. As, speaking of Kafil Slade, 15-second penalty for causing cushion on lap 13. So, bad gets to worse for Kafil Slade. Johnson will finish there in P3. Great drive from him after McDowell's 15-second penalty. Slade will be has his 15-second penalty, so he'll drop back. Liam K should come home in P4 then. Yes, he will, based on my maths. Jerry might be P5, might be P6, I don't know. Yao will definitely be P7, then Darth Kidman. I think Slade's 15-second penalty, that could be tight, but he's either going to be reverse group pole or he's going to be qualifying again.
So we've talked a little bit about reverse grid pole. Could you walk us through what that actually means for some of us who maybe are not familiar with it?
Yes. So the drivers, based on their classification from the first race from P1 through P10, they do not have to qualify in the upcoming qualifying session we have, which is 8 minutes, as that top 10 will essentially flip on its head. So whoever does end up finishing P10, they will start from pole position for the next race, and Matthew Lamb, who won this race, will start from P10. Everyone from P11 down will be qualifying to determine who will start P11. So technically not a pole award. but kind of is a pole award.
Chat just pointing out that Spence actually ran out of fuel on the last corner. I did not notice that he'd slipped all the way down to 18th there. So that is a rough go.
That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate for Spence. He would have been right up there from that reverse grid. So, yeah, that's really unfortunate.
That's double killer actually, because of the the implications for the next race.
At least he can still qualify again, so he won't be starting P18, for example. But he could have been starting like P3, P2. So not particularly great in the end. We are just waiting for things to roll over because Spence did run out of fuel, hasn't finished the race. Hasn't finished the race. Can I speak English? Wells didn't finish the race either, as he spun out Aquam Nerali, pulled it into the pit lane with his 10-second penalty. He's 11 laps down. So what? He can qualify again. That's fine.
So, do you have a driver of the day for the first race, Alexis?
From that first race, it's hard to really pick one because you've got Lamb, who just absolutely dominated the day. Johnson, good drive from him. I think Kay's drive sort of dropped under the radar a little bit as well. He kept things very solid, but also Marsh further down the low had a few errors. So I think generally, there's a few drivers you can call for, but I think I'm going to go with Kay. He had that run-in with Wells earlier on, and I don't think that quite helped him overall, but still managed to end up finishing P4, which is a great result from him. He kept it clean, kept it consistent. That's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, good choices. I'd also throw Wesley Yao into the mix. Just some hard-nosed driving in there. It was good to see.
Oh, look at that track temp. 12 degrees. Oh, that's an absolute scorcher. So, this is going to be difficult, but we don't actually know who's going to be starting from reverse grid pole, do we? Because it changed over so quick.
I think Kidman is on pole. I think.
I have a feeling it could be Slade because of his 15-second penalty.
Oh.
Let's have a look. No, it is Kidman. Okay, so Slade dropped down to P8 in the end. There we go. Just out of Darth and Kidman in P10. So it will be Kidman from reverse grid pole, followed by Darth, Slade, Yao, Jerry, McDowell, Kay, Johnson, Piper, and Lamb there. So that will be your top 10.
Well, at least it has to be said Matthew Lamb will actually be working for it a little bit this time instead of just rocketing off into the sun.
Yes, and being quick is one thing. Passing is a whole other, but with the class that we've seen from Matthew Lamb, and we've seen him in these reverse grid races do very, very well. He's kept things very clean and fair when he's racing others. I think, he should be able to find his way up to the front of the field. It's a matter of when, not if, I feel.
Yeah, I don't doubt him either. Imola is relatively tricky to pass, though. Not the worst out there, but it definitely doesn't encourage it a lot. So we'll see how Matty Lamb gets on. But as I said, I have faith in his ability.
Yeah, as we look at Rondinella doing the qualifying here, 5 minutes to go with skill issue racing. Although, given how fast Rondinella can be on his day, I dare say the skill issue is more down to consistency rather than outright pace.
I think the skill issue is that he keeps not practicing, is what I'm hearing.
Who needs practice anyways? Well, back in the old F1 series, there was one driver who would be able to fight up the front. I think there was one race where he practiced for maybe 20, 25 minutes before the actual qualifying and race happened, and he took pole position.
Yeah, but I don't think Jaden Rondinella is that guy, unfortunately.
Wow, that brutal assessment there from
where did he finish at the last race?
Yeah, he was like P16, but again, he ended up spinning. So,
Yeah, because he didn't practice.
well, he's also driving a McLaren.
Only a shit tradesman blames their tools, Alexis.
Exactly. I'm just trying to come up with any sort of excuse for good old Rondinello. He jumps into the comms box a fair bit, but a 44-2. Solid start given the track conditions. It's bloody cold out there.
What was I going to say? Yeah, he'll be on first split red tomorrow night, I believe. He's got a little bit of a schedule shake-up as people's schedules have changed, but yeah. No, I mean, all the love to Lufty. I'm just making a point about practice, I guess. I mean, at the end of the day as well, this is racing for fun. If you don't have time to practice, you don't have time to practice. I just like ribbing on him a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. As I mean, you haven't ripped on it as hard as Peach has with the Jaden Bottlnella comment as, oh my god, Richard Wells, 42.2. Yeah, okay, that probably should have expected that from Wells, given that he qualified top 10 in the first race and has the pace to fight solidly up there. So 42 to 1.2 seconds clear of Spence probably shouldn't have been unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, you had to be on a bit of a mission as well after the first race. You know, you call it in early, you get a bit annoyed, and you're out to make a statement. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do we call the driver who takes the quote-unquote pole position from this, which rather than being P1 is for P1T1, also known as 11. What sort of award would we hand out for this if there was one?
I think they call it a participation ribbon.
Oh, gosh.
So,
that's harsh. That's really harsh.
I don't know. Is it provisional poll in a way? I don't know.
I mean, it kind of is, but it's provisional P11. So...
Look, I mean, you gotta do what you can. You know, this is the situation you find yourself in. Do the best you can.
I mean, you said participation ribbon, but I think giving them a trophy that just says "Congratulations, you're mid," it would be even more harsh. So
I mean, it has to be said. You said it earlier. We have some of the best races in the Asia Pacific region here in Octane. So being like, if I was anywhere near as good as Wells was, I'd be very, very happy with myself. So
yeah, no, these drivers, even if they're in this session, still do very, very well because there's only a select number of spots available in this sprint series, and they're all fighting with each other reasonably well. They have very reasonable pace. Like, you look at a lot of the like gamers who play racing games, they'll usually go to a little more arcade racing games. Once they get to these simulation titles, there's just not a lot that can transfer over. So it does take a lot of time to actually build up that skill level to be able to race in series like this, even if they are like mostly for fun, like fairly semi-professional, semi-casual series. As we watch Lim come up to the line, he's 7/10 up. They're still moving up to P2, provisional P12. And it looks like Wells has packed it up, so that's the target to aim for, a 42 flat 1. But Lim's had enough. He's happy with that. Given he started P19 in the last race in the wet, he'll be very happy, very, very pleased. Hayden Marsh there in P3 at the moment. Price Davies goes up into P5. And Marsh now up to P2. He's got one more lap. There's Marsh, and he's only 3.5 tenths back. So this is a solid run from Hayden Marsh so far.
Hayden Marsh, another one of those drivers with something to prove after starting from the pits in the last race. Gonna do everything he can to have a better result in the next race.
He is finding a reasonable chunk of time. I mean, the track will continue to improve as the session wears on. And right now, he's about 2 tenths up. Goes a little bit wide at Toza. Does get the exit speed enough. He does need to find another 2 sort of tenths through the final half of this lap. And he is the last driver out there. So he's going to have the best possible track conditions. He's coming up to a yellow flag. Did lose time going into Piratella, but our Piratella does gain it back. Just seems to be ebbing and flowing that Delta right now as he finds time at different areas. Loses a lot of aqua mineral. It's easy to do. It always seems like a gamble when you're going through there as to whether you're going to find or lose time. How aggressive is it into Variante Alta? That was actually really smooth. I don't think it's going to be enough for him to take that provisional P11 spot, but yeah, it will still be P2, which will translate to P12 on the grid for Head Marsh, which is a vast improvement from the race 1 circumstances, provided he actually hits drive this time.
Yeah, it's not finding the rest of that time through Vatsa. Yeah, it's only going to be 1/10.
Bryce Davies got close. It's 4/10 off for Bryce Davies, but it's only good enough for P13 net. So we move on into the second of our races here with Richard Wells getting the P11 award. It's the most boring thing I could call it, but it's all I can really come up with at this stage. I mean, it is kind of right in the middle of the grid, but again, I feel calling the drivers in this split mid would be quite rude and not representative at all of the skill level that they have.
They give you a brass trophy or a brass medal for the P11 award.
That's beautiful. It's something.
So there is rain potentially towards the end of the session, but there's not much to be done there. I think you start on dries and you tough it out.
You always start on dries because track condition is dry. It's bone dry. If you put wets on now, they're just going to burn up and die. And it's only going to affect the last maybe 5 minutes of the race, that rain, and it's not going to be heavy at all. So it'll just be a case of these drivers will have to survive.
No, unfortunately not, Glenn. Not particularly. I have sources trying to whisper things in my ear, but I cannot hear it, unfortunately.
Yeah, perhaps the chat will get a bit of a use, but yeah, seems like last couple laps we'll see that rain, but right now, yeah, we've got 18 drivers. Okay, so a driver has dropped out somewhere. Beautiful.
They might come back. There's still time.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're going to do their formation lap and then reorganize themselves into our actual starting grid. Is that correct?
Yes. So, well, they'll wait on the grid. You'll have the reverse top 10 line up, and then the rest of the grid down will just follow along, and then your formation lap really just starts there. So we have 5 seconds until we get this session started. You'll see the drivers will just hold on grid, and oh dear, Winton has forgotten to hit drive this time. Brilliant!
No, what are we doing? Why does this keep happening? You're sitting for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Did he run to the toilet or something?
Maybe, but still, like, I don't know. But either way, Winton, I mean, he was P8 there, so he's going to be starting in P18 anyways. So, not a whole lot lost.
No, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't want to be starting P18. And it's from the pits as well. Like, I mean, we saw with Hayden Marsh, like, he did a pretty good job. But you're fighting at the back for the scraps, aren't you?
Yeah. So, yeah, I would question it a little bit. But, hey, it can happen. And it's happened twice. So, hopefully that's the last time it happens throughout this round. But there you go, Kidman out the front. He'll be very, very pleased with himself. He's got caught up in quite a few instances this season, so hopefully this can turn it around a bit for him, as he can have solid pace on his day. Darth there in P2, and Yao, Jerry, McDowell, Kate, Johnson, Piper, Lamb. Oh, it was someone in the top 10 that we lost. Oh, it was Slady we lost.
Oh no.
Oh, well that sucks. So Catfield Slade, he's gone. So it is a reverse top 9, I guess.
Yeah. Reverse top 9, then the further drivers got to do their qualifying as normal for the last.
It's
9
basically
positions.
just reverse half the field, the other half to drive. That's basically all it's been. So so Kidman, Darth, Yao, Jerry, McDowell, Kate, Johnson, Piper, Lamb, and Wells, your top 10. And we'll get underway very, very shortly. Blake, did you want to get this one underway?
Yeah, can do. You have to give me a prediction for this race, though, first.
Kranich last to first.
Love it. Let's go, Paul Kranich. Set it up, baby. Alright, as they're rolling over our grid boxes, the start is actually a little bit far down Imola, but we're led ahead by Todd Kidman in the 35 Ford Mustang with Chris Darth by his side. Chris Darth actually pulling a little bit ahead as we're about to get underway, and those lights go green, and Jerry has gotten a very, very good start, and Wesley Yao having a look around the outside, but there's nothing to do there. He's taking too much grass. Wesley Yao back on the track, please, and thank you. 3 wide for Piper and McDowell, but nothing to do there as Piper gets ahead, and Jeremy Zeri is speeding away from Todd Kidman. Says, see you later, as it looks like we've gotten through there without too much trouble. A little shaky here and there. Almost looks like Darth comes together with K potentially, but nothing too much happening as we're starting to settle down. McDowell having a move down the inside of Yao. Piper a move down the inside of Darth as well. Oh, it's all a bit shaky as I said we're settling down, but not quite yet, as these 3 look like they're going to go 3 wide into Piratella.
Oh, that's it.
And Lamb having a look down the inside too, as Yao off the track and comes back on. It's okay, a little bit of grass again, doing a little bit of lawn mowing. He's holding back Spence, but oh my god, Price Davies coming together. Yao going wide. Sorry, Price Davies coming together with Spence, so probably have a little bit of a look at that. But as they're kind of in a singular line now, as we settle down, oh la la, that was a bit much, if you ask me.
Yeah, it got very, very crazy on that first lap, but what a start from Jerry Kidman, just caught napping, and he's already 1.5 seconds back. Darth, do not run into the back of Piper. That got very, very close, but Piper, great start from him, from P8 up to P4 at the end of the first lap. Now McDowell's going to be tackling the beast that is the, well, so-called beast that is the Ferrari, but out front, Jerry, great lap, but Liam K, he's chasing after Kidman, is looking to make a move into turn 1. Kidman doesn't seem to have the pace right now, and that's K going through, but he's gone deep, so he'll have to cede that position back. But here comes Benjamin Piper, if you don't mind. That's a little bit of contact there with Kidman, but that is fair racing, I would say, and Kidman is going to hold on to P3, but K, he keeps that P2 position. I think the stewards might look at that if he decides to hold on to it, as Kidman defends the inside, blocking Piper's path, and Kidman is just trying to do anything he can to hold on to the position he's in.
We have Wells back in the pits again.
Oh no. Oh
What
no.
happened?
Oh no. Not again.
Oh, nightmare night for Wells. What's going on? I mean,
It has not gone well for Wells.
Boo. That was bad.
That there is more where that came from. Is that looks like in the background, Lamb trying to get through on Johnson, and Johnson decides, all right, I'm just going to dive it up on McDowell if you don't mind. And McDowell loses the position, and now Lamb will lose the position. Lamb will gain on McDowell as well. McDowell's going to try and hold around the outside of Aaron Taylor. Oh dear, that is a deep from Spence. Spence, please do not do that too often. You have had a brown flag moment. And here comes Johnson now on Darth, who seems to just be trying to hold his own where possible against these very, very fast drivers and sort of giving Piper a bit more room to work with to attack Kidman, but Johnson and Lamb look to have a lot of pace right now.
Yeah, that was very, very spicy from Spence. Just completely hopping over this as well. Oh, there's just no room there. Oh dear. Oh no. That is a big old whack. Yeah, that was death. Really surprised that nothing more came of that. Just really slotted in between that Porsche. I'm not sure who that was.
Yeah,
that was so unfortunate.
That was Marsh who squeezed him onto the grass, as that Johnson has hit the back of Kidman and Darth has gone into the back, and now Lamb's going to try and get through on all of them. Johnson, there's contact everywhere. Lamb's hit the back of Kidman as well. Everything is going on here at Imola.
I think the rain has made them a bit crazy. They've been let loose on this dry track and they don't know how to behave anymore.
Yeah, just maybe, as now Darth loses more positions, this time to McDowell, and now Spence, and now probably Bryce Davies is oh dear, no, Darth tried to stick it in at the inside of Aquaminerale and he spun McDowell around. Can we please have some sensible racing?
No, Bryce Davies is spun! Ah!
What is going on?
Darth? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We had our Lance Stroll moment, and for God's sake, what is going on in this race? Can these drivers...
What's happening?
Excuse my French, but can these drivers just fucking behave? Like, seriously, what is going on? This whole lap has been an absolute mess.
I'm actually speechless. Like, what do you even say? Is it the reverse grid crazies where you got faster drivers coming through on the slower drivers?
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. It's just the effect of that reverse grid and the drivers who normally aren't up that far trying to defend their positions hard, the drivers who normally wouldn't be doing a lot of racing against these drivers, not really knowing where they're going to brake, and it's just compound effect, and yeah.
Yeah, I think just maybe not enough patience exercised here, and I don't know.
Like, as Johnson gets loose, and now Lamb just keeps getting boxed in, and I think that's sort of why last time Lamb got into the back of Kidman. Looks like he might get through on Kidman now, but Kidman in that Mustang will just have a great run up towards Perotella, so Lamb would have to really dive it. Kidman's going to try and hold around the outside. You're not going to get that done there, and Lamb does have the inside now into Aquaminerale. Going to go side by side into Aquaminerale. Marsh has a 15-second penalty, as I was expecting, and Lamb cannot get through on Kidman so far.
We have a bunch of drivers out as well, actually. It looks like 2 more have dropped out, and Wesley Yao is in the pits.
Yep, I'm not surprised, as Lamb tries to go around the outside of Aaron Tielta, smartly backs out of it, but now he's left himself vulnerable to Lim, who is going to get through, so just a bit of lack of patience there from Lamb, and yeah, off he goes. Through goes Lim up into P6, who's had a great start to this race, and now he's gone deep, and back goes through with Lamb, and up goes Marsh, who has a 15-second penalty. Jerry sets the fastest lap with a 42.4. That's probably the least chaotic thing that's happened so far, is Jerry being 6.2 seconds clear of everyone.
Jerry absolutely cheering right now. He's like, "What yellow flags? What's happening? We're just driving." News in from the chat is that Slady's PC exploded, so sorry, Slady. I don't know if you mean that very literally or if it just kind of died on you in the race, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate there for Slady, but I think he's probably watching on with the action that's going on going, honestly, maybe I didn't miss a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe it was good to get this on a skip.
Although I'm pretty sure as a result, Jerry ended up starting from P3, so make of that what you will. But yeah, Kidman...
I mean,
still defending from Lamb at the moment. Is Lamb going to have another go into Takuma Raleigh? I don't think so, because you're basically never going to get moves done there, even with the pace of edge that Lamb has. And I think that could be the thing that holds Lamb back, is just trying to make moves with that Porsche, because the Porsche just does not have the speed in a straight line, so it just cannot get alongside you. Essentially having to do all these late breaking moves. And against the Mustang, that's very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you're just gonna have to be cornering so much better that you are like putting yourself ahead essentially after the corner, because that Mustang is just a rocket out of the corner.
Yeah,
like, he's so close here, and then unless that corner was really bad by Kidman, but Kidman's gonna pull away anyway in that Mustang, so he's already car ahead.
Yeah, but you've got the slipstream effect for Lamb, so that will keep Lamb in touch, and he's going to brake nice and late, coming into the Tamburello chicane, and he's going to try and get this move done, but he can't. Kidman defends nicely, but goes very, very deep. That could be what allows Lamb through on the exit. Can he cut back inside? Yes, he can. This should be easily done into Villeneuve for Lamb, and it is nicely done. Brilliant move.
Yeah, there we go. The other way that we didn't talk about is forcing a mistake, which, if you have Matthew Lamb behind you, I think the pressure is on pretty immensely.
Yeah, definitely. He's got 20 minutes, and he has a lot of pace, but right now he's got a lot of gaps to build, to cut down. K in P2 having a very solid round. He's under a lot of pressure now from Benjamin Piper, who has the fastest lap of this race and could be the one to put Jerry under pressure come the end of this race.
Yeah, I think something to be said, sorry, about something that we were talking about earlier. I say we've lost another driver as well, but I don't really like seeing people drop out, especially when the grid isn't less than 20 cars, because there's so many points to be made up. Just keep driving, you know? Yeah,
like when there's less than 20 cars, you can make up a lot of points, even if you get caught up in incidents on drivers who just aren't racing. And, like, yes, you have a drop round, but if you're just consigning one of these rounds to a drop round, even this late into the season, then you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position come Bathurst next week, which could be a complete Russian roulette for everyone. So you just have no idea. But, again, it's just one of those things that you can rant about all day, but you're just not going to see any change in it, because it's, unfortunately, a common activity in sim racing.
Yes, Luke Johnson nabs the fastest lap. Liam Kay copping a 10-second penalty. That is not going to help his lead in the Pro-Am class.
And he's dropping that's Piper as well.
Yeah. He's going to drop behind Kidman, at least at this stage.
Yep, I have a feeling we're going to see more, because we've already seen Spence get penalty as well. Could be a few of your front runners that get like little 5-second penalties for little bumps or whatever. But yeah, there's just been so much going on that.
So many things happened that I actually kind of forgot that they're going to give penalties to these people. It's going to be. I guess some of them might have quit. I mean, that might be part of it, but the stewards actually have a lot to work through. And speaking of work, Johnson has his work cut out for him, as Matthew Lamb is now catching to the back of him pretty rapidly.
Yeah, but I think there's some good points being made by the likes of Paige, Sam, JC, and chat, that it's very difficult to follow someone when they check up so much more than you expect. Because as much as they're aware that the drivers that they're racing in these reverse grid races won't be as quick as them, it's still very difficult to adjust to what the driver in front is doing, because even if you brake like a millisecond later than what the driver in front does, you're still going to be closing in on them by meters a second. So it can be very, very tricky, and I think that's why you see a lot of the front runners get caught up in a lot of these contacts. I think the bigger issue is just more the other drivers getting involved that may be racing each other a lot more often, as we see. Yeah, there we go. Chris Daff, 15-second penalty causing a collision on lap 3. He's dropped all the way down to P8 and will drop further with that penalty.
Lamb really, really close to Johnson as we come through Piratella. Not much moves to be made through this part of the track, but we'll see how they end up when they get to Ravata.
I think this will probably be the tightest battle that Lamb's going to have to contend with throughout this race, given that these are both pro class drivers and they're both very, very quick in their own right. I mean, we know how quick, but Johnson also, that's probably pushed under the radar a little bit more. He's got great pace. He's not the outright fastest from the pro drivers, but he's still a very, very good pro driver at the end of the day. So you cannot discount his pace, and he can put in some really good defensive drives.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, and I said it before, this track isn't the easiest to overtake at. It's not the hardest, but, I mean, Johnson could just put together a really, really good defense. I mean, Matty Lamb would probably get ahead at some point if you put a gun to my head and asked me. But all these seconds is crucial. Jerry right now is cheering Johnson on, saying, hold that guy back. Because the longer he stays behind Johnson, the less time he has to catch up the rest of these guys. And we're about at the halfway mark too. So let's wait and see.
And I think that's a dive up the inside from Lamb. Johnson did have to turn out of the corner a little bit, but I don't think Lamb is going to quite get the run down towards Piratella. So Johnson should be able to hold on to P4 for now, but Lamb is trying everything, and I think that dive bomb into Tozer is probably going to be the best sort of opportunity he gets. But you can see the mistakes just starting to creep in, and yeah, Johnson rolls out of it because he doesn't want to get that penalty. So Lamb does move up. So it all just comes down to those little mistakes that the other drivers make that Lamb just isn't really making.
All my analysis for nothing. Matthew Lamb, please. I have kids to feed. That's not true. But Matthew
We're
Lamb,
not getting paid for this.
I heard if we're really, really good, Glenn's going to start paying us.
Yes, I love an extra cent into my bank account every 20 years.
I'm actually still waiting on 15 cents from filling in before the break, but that's, that can wait, I guess. Glenn telling me it's in the mail.
Yes, being sent straight into the middle of the Pacific Ocean into the Mariana Trench.
All right, so Matty Lamb, 2 seconds to catch up to Liam K, but I mean, technically it doesn't actually matter as Liam K has 10 seconds to his name. But
the real question will be, can he make up 12 seconds in about 14 minutes?
Have you seen, what is Jerry lapping right now?
That is the question.
Sam O'Brien asking the important questions in chat as well.
But yeah, he still has to make moves to get there as well, so it's not going to be a straightforward task.
Yeah. I believe I was just whispered that Jerry's doing a 42 something, whereas I'm pretty sure we've seen Lamb doing 41 so flat. We're, in my very, very poor math, I think that will be enough time to catch these people, but as people are saying, making the move is not the same.
If he's gaining 1.5 seconds a lap, and the lap time here is a 1 minute 40, he is not going to have enough time. Meanwhile, there is rain on the radar in 10 minutes, so it's literally going to come like last few laps. Beautiful.
Oh, where's our lap times?
41.1 for Lamb that lap.
That's quick.
It's quick, but now he's got to get through on K, which that's actually been pretty easy for him. Jerry, 42 flat. So I think Jerry is doing enough at the moment as the gap comes down to about 11 seconds.
Yeah, I can't math that. Someone in the chat do it for me.
Lamb does not have enough time based on those deltas.
Yeah, okay.
He would have to be gaining by about 1.5 seconds a lap. But all it takes is one mistake from Jerry, and Lamb could be right there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely not counting him out until that checkered flag is waving. But I hate to do it to him, but I hate to do it to Matthew Lamb, but I guess I'm cheering on Jerry. I'd like to see someone else win a race in split yellow.
See, I think everyone's cheering on Jerry at this point. Like, no offense to Matthew Lamb, but he's won literally everything in split yellow this season. Can we have our Carlos Sainz moment? Oh dear, Darrell Lim, that is a big penalty. Big old drive-through for an unsafe rejoin, and this pit lane here is not small.
He isn't in the race anymore.
He gone.
Yeah. Is he gonna... Do they carry on in Octane to the next race?
I know, but I think there might be... I don't know whether there's, like, grid drops or, like, penalties. Still, I have a feeling there might still be some like, penalty point system, so you can still get, like, poly bans, but I'm not sure whether it gets carried over into, like, a grid drop like it would in, like, F1 or any other racing series. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Jerry that lap, 42.4, and the gap is now 10 seconds as Lamb put in a 41.5, of course, trying to get through on the Porsche of K on the same lap.
Once again, Jerry going to be absolutely cheering on Piper, saying, "Get those elbows out for me, please, Piper."
Yeah, Bowles saying goes onto the license, doesn't think it carries over. So there we go. But yes, the much like the penalty points in, say, F1, there are penalty points in Octane Online Racing. You accrue a certain amount of penalty points within a certain period. You get quali bans or race bans or just kicked out of the series in general if you're just that much of a menace. So it does keep the drivers mostly in order, but as we've seen from this race, there can be times where they just go completely nuts and loose and just let all their frustrations come out. So we look at the lap time from Jerry. It is a 42.2, so a better lap that time from Jerry. Lamb's had clean air this whole lap. What does he set? He sets a 41.1, so about 1.1 seconds. Yeah, that is not enough. He needs to make 9 seconds in 9 minutes.
So that's, by my amateur math, that's more than a second a lap as well.
Yes.
It's going to be like 1.4 or 5. That's a pretty big ask. I think Jerry's going to need to make a mistake.
Yeah, so Jerry up front, he just needs to keep it clean, keep consistent, and he could have a race. Oh, look, Lim. That drive-through wasn't enough. Another 10 seconds, and he's not serving any of them, so it just goes straight onto the license, and that's it. Beautiful.
Rough. I mean, I guess that is also a reason to stay in the race, is just to serve those penalties.
I mean, it goes onto the license, regardless.
Okay.
Like, the license points are just accrued based on the penalties you receive. Doesn't matter whether you serve it or not, you still get those penalty points.
Liam Kay under a bit of pressure from Luke Johnson. I mean,
the irony is because the Marsh and Darth have 15-second penalties behind him, he's probably not going to lose any positions provided Johnson actually gets through on him.
Yeah, and I mean, Johnson doesn't actually necessarily need to get this position from Kay.
Might actually be letting him go a little bit here. As Johnson
he's
up
not
the
fighting
inside.
too hard.
Yeah. I think Kay just wants to get to the end of this race, but he can still get P5 out of this one, which would be pretty good. As here is Darth. As Lamb, he's not going to settle without a fight. He's gone a 141 flat to set the fastest lap of the race. Still, the gap is only, 7.8 seconds, and he's got to get through on this big Bentley here with Benjamin Piper. So, far from easy. Far from easy.
Yeah, and as you start climbing the order, you're getting to more seasoned drivers who can get those elbows out.
Yes, well, Piper. really, really experienced driver at this point. He's been in the series for as long as I can sort of remember. So, yeah, Piper knows how to defend. He knows how to race against these very, very fast drivers. And in that Bentley, which is very, very wide, it's going to be a difficult task for Matthew Lamb to get through.
Does Matty Lamb just have some kind of aura that spooks drivers into making mistakes or something? When they see that dark grey Porsche in the rear view, they just go, oh!
Yesn't. I think going up against any sort of like really, really fast, like top tier driver is going to be a bit scary. But because of that, you can kind of say that there is a little bit of, or that encourages more mistakes, but there are quite a few drivers that will be immune to that sort of thing and will be able to handle that pressure just fine and just keep driving their own race and just try and ignore whatever's going on in their rearview mirror for the most part. Now, yeah, on that lap, only a 41.4, so it's not going to happen for Lamb, as yeah, Jerry's picked up the pace. He said his fastest lap of the race was a 41.9, so Jerry's doing everything he needs to do to take this race win and become only your second race winner in Split Yellow this season.
Yeah, very exclusive club.
Yep, feels a bit like 2023 F1 season. And here's the rain if you were interested. So 5 minutes to go.
Ooh.
We have our rain. This is probably where you're going to see the mistakes happen. And Lamb is through, I believe, on Piper. Yes, he is. So this could be where it starts to really hurt either of these drivers.
Yeah, it's not over. It's not over. Wet track with the slicks, like any of these drivers could
already
make
gone
a
to
big
greasy.
mistake. Yeah.
Already gone to greasy. And that Mustang, we've seen earlier that it can be a bit loose. So it's not going to be easy for Jerry, but he's just going to have to keep it on the track and just put in whatever lap times you can. Don't pay too much attention to whatever the gap is. If it comes down to the last lap, it comes down to the last lap. Just defend with all your might, but just keep it on the track. Try not to make any mistakes where possible. Which, again, easier said than done when the track starts to get a bit loosey-goosey on you.
Yeah, easier said than done when you have Matthew Lamb breathing down your neck, too.
We'll see what the gap is at the end of the lap with 4 minutes to go. So that's about 4 laps. 7.2.
Okay, that hasn't changed too much from what Piper had in just that lap, at least.
Yeah, so this lap will really tell us whether we have a race still in our hands or whether Jerry, provided he keeps it clean, will be able to take home the win for the second race here at Imola for Split Yellow. Of course, do stick around. We have Split Green coming up for you very, very shortly. We'll go over some quick results at the end of this one and cross it over to your Split Green commentators probably, I'd say, in about 6 minutes' time. So as the Split Green qualifying comes to a close. Just looking on with Lamb, he's still 7.1 seconds behind. I don't think he's gaining as much now that the track is starting to worsen. So perhaps that car has just been a bit more well-suited to the dry conditions, and now there's a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of precipitation. It's started to lean more in favor of the Mustang of Jeremy Jerry.
Come on, Jerry, you could bring this home.
Yeah, but we want a different winner for a change, and he's got 2.5 minutes to do it, so that's another 2 laps. Track is still greasy at this stage. And there you go. I was just waiting for it to cross over to damp, and it has now crossed over to damp. So this will be where it starts to get really tricky for these drivers, and the gap down to 6.1.
Yeah, it's about 5 seconds slower for Jerry on that lap. I mean, obviously to be expected. More just pointing out the difference between the track conditions, and it's only going to get worse.
Yep. Bowles seems to have been lied to. He was told that these splits were going to be excellent, but yeah, it seems there's been quite a few instances, and I'm sure the stewards have had a bit of a rough time deliberating over the results. But yeah, either way, I think this race is probably a bit of an anomaly. There have been some races where maybe it hasn't been the cleanest, but Jerry runs a bit deep. He's gonna just try and keep it careful. Although Lamb does the exact same thing, so that's okay.
I do think Split Yellow has been very good, generally speaking, in terms of incidents. I do think we were ragging on him a little bit, but reverse grid racing does, I think, promote potential incidents, as you have much faster drivers trying to get by drivers who are not quite as quick. As Peach was alluding to before, people break earlier than you anticipate, and there's not much you can do sometimes. You literally just end up straight in the back of them because you can't stop any quicker than you stop. So it happens. I do think there was a bit of impatience happening in this race, but it is what it is. As Jerry coming through for the final lap of the race.
3.8 is the gap, and that has closed in a lot. It's closed in by 2.3 on that last lap, and the conditions are rough. So Jerry just needs to keep it together. One small mistake could be all it takes.
As Matty Lamb gets a bit sideways coming out of Tamburello. Oy. I mean, just keep it stuck on there, Jerry, and you'll do it.
He's coming through Tozer now. This can be a point where you can just get a little bit too throttle happy, but he's done very well there. You can see how much Lamb is trying to push that Porsche, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Through Piratella, we go with the Mustang of Jerry, who's put in a great drive. It all started with that start that he got. Great drive off the line and overtook quite a few cars straight into the lead, and he hasn't looked back. He may have started looking back as we've reached the final stage of this race now that he's seen Lamb slowly approach, but it's probably going to be just enough for the Mustang liveried Mustang of Jerry. He's sitting in a great position in the standings. I believe he's actually second in the overall standings and leading the silver class. This is going to extend his lead out front, and he's going to come through the final corners at the first Ravazza and at the second Ravazza. Matthew Lamb will have gotten very, very close, but it's not going to be close enough. We are going to have a new winner in Split Yellow this season, and it is going to be the Big Mac Jr. 222 silver class car of Jerry, who crosses the line and wins the second race here at Imola. A brilliant drive. Lamb from P9 to P2 with the fastest lap. The perfect season is over with Piper there in P3, rounding out your podium.
Yeah, Johnson bringing out P2 in class, P4 overall. Pretty solid drive from him too. Liam K coming through. I don't believe he's going to finish up there in P5. He'll probably be dropping down to P7 as Chris Darth cops another penalty. That is going to hurt at 30 seconds total. Oof. Marsh coming over the line once again. I think that's going to be P8 question mark after
it'll end up being like P8, P9. I don't know.
As Kidman
is quite a few that will cross the line about now.
Yeah, Kidman's going to come away with the Pro-Am win, actually.
K stays ahead.
No, K's only got 10 seconds. Yes, thank you for correcting me.
I think that was meant to be 15, but even if it was 15, he'd still be ahead of Kidman. So
yeah.
Kranich in P11, your AM class winner. Then we had Winton, Yao, and Price Davies. They're a fair way back. They've gotten caught up in a lot of incidents, so they'll round out your race here. That is not the line from Price Davies. Certainly one of the lines of all time. That will pretty much do it here.
As we bring home Price Davies, who was your driver of the day for the second race there, Alexis?
Jerry, 100%. I think.
Yeah. I don't think that's any question. It was a really, really good drive.
you really cannot fault it.
Especially that start as well was just magic. What was it, like from P3 up into the lead or something? Really good move through T1, through Tamburello.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, so we'll have a quick look at our classifications there for race 2. It was Jerry from looking at the Pro-Am or something, I don't know. Jerry from Lamb, Piper, Johnson, K, your top 5. Then we'll have a look at your silver class, Jerry, Piper, Slade, who did not take part. Pro-Am class, we had K, Kidman, and Spenceley. Then in the Am class, we had Kranich and Winton. So that does it for Split Yellow tonight. We'll cut off to a short break where we will cross over to your Split Green commentators, Connor Hind and Josh Holmes. But from myself and Blake, we wish you all a very good night, and we will see you all next week at Bathurst.
Welcome, everyone. After a short break of a couple of weeks, we are back with the Octane Online Simrigs Sprint Series. We are split green Wednesday nights. My name's Connor Hine, and I'm joined here in the box by Jem Wise Holmes. How are you, Jem?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. A long break. We're back after, stressful Nords 12 hour. It was great fun. But here we are, Imola, Super Sprint. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. We're back, baby. Everyone, we're back as we are jumping towards the end of quali here. It's a bit where, and look who we have on screen, a returning member in the Honda. It's Chris Taylor.
Oh, and he's come in style, really. Like Honda P2. Let's go. Benny Vintner out there in P1. We've got there 23 on the grid, so not a bad showing tonight for the wet Imola. Oh, drifting. No.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a... Oh, Chris has found the wall. We've absolutely... Is that a curse? It's not a curse. The Motul Aston is on top, though. So we have Benny Vintner in P1, Chris Taylor in P2. I believe a new driver up from Academy, El Marshall in P3, Hamilton in P4, Hignett in P5, McAdam in P6, King in P7, Tofig, Too Furious in P8, Smith in P9, and Hill rounds out your top 10.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I mean, great showing from Marshall there. P3 on debut, I believe, is that? So, yeah, but
yeah, for
awesome.
Sure.
It's pretty well done, especially against some of those drivers there. Those are fairly big names in the top 10 there. So great showing from Marshall. Good on him. But that Motul Aston up in the front, God, that looks good.
It actually is one of the liveries on the grid. I think it's one of the better ones. So. But yeah, so we've had. I would like to see the times. I don't really know the times as per se to see how close people were. But for Marshall to put it near pole in his first race, you can't sweat that effort.
Yeah, not at all. It looked like Marshall was 2 tenths off the lead. The time was at 50.3. Chris was 1 tenth off. Hamilton or Liam being 3 tenths off. It was actually quite tight all the way. I'm just trying to get the load here. So your top 11 were all within 7 tenths of P1. And then there's a big jump to P12 with 1.2 seconds off. So, yeah, pretty tight in the top 11 there. So really, really well done by Marshall to stick it out.
Yeah, for sure. It'd give him a boatload of confidence as well in the... Was it wet for quali?
Yep.
Maybe?
Yep. Yeah,
so,
100% with 150s. Yep.
Going into the race, that he can kind of match it with some of these guys in this split.
Especially being that the race is now wet as well. So it's going to match the quali conditions, and he knows, maybe it would have been a little bit sketch had he qualied in wet P3 and then come into a dry race. Some of those guys behind him might have, been pretty quick in the dry. I'm not too sure what Marshall's like in the dry, but I do know that Hamilton was doing a lot more dry practice than he was in the wet.
Look, wouldn't put it past him if he was hanging out at Henny Penny all week or Rascals or something like that, instead of putting laps in the wet. Liam, come on, son. But he did out-qualify Ben again, and I know Ben lives at Henny Penny, so
absolutely
get that livery. I'm glad he changed the car to the Ferrari. That's good. But get that livery off the car.
I mean, that colour scheme looks nice, the little pattern on it. Sam, what's Keys doing in the back? He has a quali ban, so that is why he's there. That was from a quali ban that he has to serve from Kyalami. So this time it was not on purpose that he put himself there. This time it was steward implemented. So.
Yeah, so as we're on board with Hamilton, jump back down the hill. We have Thurkalini's in P11 there, so another good qualifying result by Thurkalini. Let's see how he goes in the race. Squires is there right behind him, so a little silver battle there for the P3 and the podium. Might be on the cards. It'll be interesting. Barker back in 13th. I thought he would have been up a bit more, but, sometimes it can happen. Weatherburn in P15. What's going on there, Yoda? What are you doing?
I mean, yeah, there's some pretty big names that are down the orders, but I guess people must have been a bit thrown off with the wet. Maybe doing the old Liam Hamilton strat of just one more dry practice lap, just one more, followed by just one more dry practice lap.
Followed by yet another dry practice lap. Oh, Acro Minerale feels a bit skits in the wet. Better go back to the dry. Find the line.
No, it's I'm looking forward to the race start here. It's gonna be good. I mean, look at the manufacturers up there at the top 5, dominated by the British manufacturers. But there is a Honda on the front row. There's a Honda.
VTEC.
Different.
Yo.
Oh, and we have Luke Johnson joining us in the box as well. How are you, Fluky? How was your race?
Evening, guys. How's it going?
Yeah,
sorry to miss quali. Looks like it's been a bit spicy at the front here.
Absolutely.
Well, I reckon we give this lap 1 to you, champ.
To you. No.
I did. Yeah. I did change one.
I did the one before because I think it's Connors.
I'm not ready. You can't throw that shit at me like that.
All right, I got us. The screen is.
It's frozen.
There we go. Oh no, it's all right. We're gonna. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Come on, go. Give us what you think. Give us what you think is happening. Connor?
I reckon, they're going to
Oh.
round onto the back straight. So I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to play all along. We have Vintner in P1, Taylor in P2. I even called the grid order, you know? Like,
Oh,
it's
God.
like as if I knew pre-time. As they're rounding around, coming towards the start finish line. It'll be interesting to see how the jumps go from the top of the grid. So we'll wait for the green flag, and Hamilton is all over the back of Taylor there, so there could be naughtiness into T1. Could be a bit of sauce, bit of spice. We don't know. And it's green, and we go, and Vintner has kept that jump in the front, but Chris Taylor is going to have a little sniff around the outside. Don't mind if I do. Oh, he's backed out. That's really cautious. Marshall's going to take the inside line, though. Too wide into T1. Look at it go. Taylor holds the line. Marshall pulls back in behind. Hamilton's just there, searching. Hignett, he's ate too much Henny Petty today, so that's weighing him down back there in fifth. And we have, there's a bit of chopping and changing, but everyone seems to be kind of single file and got through okay. As, Carice has gotten messed up on the curb, so he'd be nervous too. He'd be a bit of puckered cheeks there, I reckon. But yeah, as we jump back, Yoda is all over the back of, by the looks of it, Rad, I think that's Rad. With Bishop behind, so I wonder what happened to Yoda. And someone has completely died out the back. Pascal Armstrong was yellow, but now he's okay. So yeah, there is a few. So I don't know what's happened there. Keys seems to have made a couple of spots, but most of the pack has got through okay. So unscathed, mostly 98% unscathed. So we'll take that. It's better than 95% unscathed. So
Absolutely.
But we have Vintner is still holding strong in the lead, and there is a Bentley looking the other way. You cannot park there, sir. Get out of it. Who is it? Smith. I wonder what happened there. We'll get a replay. We'll get a replay on that soon enough, but hopefully he rejoins safely. Yes, excellent rejoin there, mate. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's how you rejoin. As we round the first lap, we have Vintner who's going to hold P1. Taylor there, about a second off, is in P2, and Marshall is staying in P3 and holding his own. So that's really good.
That is really impressive by Marshall to do that. I was going to comment on it, especially debut race in Sprint Series on a track like Imola, which is known to cause some drama, and then in the wet, and being surrounded by some fairly big names, that doesn't encourage a very calm mindset. And he managed to do some pretty close door-to-door racing there right at the start with Chris, keep it really clean. So big ups to Marshall there for having a great race start and keeping his head on his shoulders and not doing anything too crazy, especially with all of these sprint boys around him wanting to get past, because they're probably like, who is this? I deserve to be past this person. So it's going to be scary up there for Marshall, but good on him.
I paid for this road. I paid for it. I put my card details in. That's mine.
I've been here 5 years longer than you.
I bought it. This is my track. But no, that's really impressive by Marshall. That's really mature racing straight off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder what happened there at the back crash, if it was just people losing it on their own, or if there was an actual crash. But glad to see Chris coming back after his long break, doing well, especially in the Honda. What a brutal way to reintroduce yourself to sim racing in Imola in the rain.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we see Rad lose it on his own, that's brutal there.
That definitely go and put them wet tyres on Rad. I don't know if you got them on there, but please, for the love of God, it looks pretty treacherous out there actually, and especially I remember back to a race last year for an enduro for Imola, and like the wet at Imola is just kind of a bit more dicey than kind of other tracks. As Yoda decides T1 doesn't exist, I didn't pay for that corner and I'm not going to use it.
He just really wanted to play in the sandpit there.
Yeah, we can see Keys making up a few spots. I mean, I'm not really a Datsun expert, but I do tend to hang around with people who love the things. So I Apparently, it's really good in the wet, right? Is that how it goes?
Top tier in the wet. It is by
Okay.
far the most fun car to drive in ACC in the wet.
All right. Well, there we go. So I'm sure Keys is loving life at the moment, chopping up
we got another
Stangs and
Bentley off.
Bentleys.
There's another Bentley there.
That's
Bentley's-
McAdams. McAdams
that-
going down the order, so he's had a dicey moment.
That could have championship implications too, because you got to remember coming into this after our break that Hamilton and McAdam are separated by 10 or 15 points, or maybe even less. So they're duking it out for the championship battle here, and Hamilton kind of is just steering clear in P4, which is kind of, if he doesn't have the utmost pace of the top couple, then just keep it clean. And if your competitor's been around you, well, you know, as Keys absolutely decides that the back of Bishop's car needs a kiss, give it a little smooch, son.
I mean, it looks like also Hamilton's only 2/10 of Marshall, so Marshall's going to be feeling some pressure now, going to 4/10. We know the Aston's also incredibly strong in the wet. It's a mixed weather beast. But then again, so is a Bentley, so it'll be interesting to see how
here for sure.
long Marshall can hold his own out here, and yeah, if he's done the time and the practice and the rain, he might be able to continue chugging along and even secure himself a P1. You never know what happens. Someone could just spin it Aqua Minerale, or as I believe Hamilton refers to it as mineral water. So for those who
Definitely
dabble
not
in
Tassie
the
mineral
English.
It's a great
Definitely not the pristine waters from the mountains down here in Tasmania, I can tell you that much. Otherwise, he wouldn't be mouthing it so much.
Oh my god.
I'm going to have to talk to him after the race. Get those dirty salt words out of his mouth as we look here into this battle. So Marshall, yeah, I reckon he's sweating a little bit. I reckon he's just kind of saying, but then Hamilton could be doing the same. Hamilton could just be sitting there, like, you know, just baiting his time, just seeing what the vibe is, where he's strong, where he's weak, and then
You know what I've noticed is that I think that number that he has in the car just I mean, he's got it covered now, doesn't he? It's done. That P3 is his.
It's all up for grabs, because I think Hamilton's looking pretty racy here, and has kind of said,
no, you can't beat the 24.
Having not gone up against Marshall before in the strong car that is the Bentley here, particularly in the wet, he's just sussing him out, just applying a bit of pressure, see if he can soak it up, and see if he can crack, as we see the Aston's nose right up into the gearbox of that Bentley.
Looks like Marshall's closing the gap as well to Chris.
I was about to say, Chris is not far down the road, and there's a big old slide by the big old Boatley there. We see if Hamilton's going to potentially make a little bit of a peak. He's going to do the old switcheroo here, see if he can get the inside line. They're going to go side by side, and he's managed to get past. Well done to Liam there, and it's an excellent switchback move there. Great racing by both of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Aston's making the most of that TC2 function that the Bentley might be lacking on. These conditions, it might help a little bit.
Yeah, but he'll be puckering down now. He'll be looking at Chris up the road and thinking, okay, time to play the Jaws theme. He's not that far up the road, and he'll be smelling some fresh blood, I think.
The thing, it's also like just seeing, like, you can visibly view really easily the different strengths and weaknesses of the cars in the wet. Like, it's more pronounced in the wet than it is in the dry, I think.
Yeah, they say rain's the great equalizer, right?
Rain is the great equalizer, unless...
Until you get a car that's amazing in the rain.
Unless it rains at Kyalami, then that makes it even more binned here than what it just was.
Or I don't even know. I don't even know how you had the balls on you to mention that 3 weeks after. You know, after witnessing probably the greatest race known to man.
It's okay,
Incredible.
Jim. I'll let you process it. I'll let
I
you.
should have
talk about-
honestly looking back on it, I should have just binned the Fezzer at Nords like properly binned it. I don't know if we should have crossed the line P2. I don't think after the slander you've given Kyle Army, I should have done everything in my power to make sure that Fezzer finished dead last.
This is why I waited 3 weeks. As Marshall, did you see Marshall and Aqua Minerale there? Jeez, had a moment, had a bit of a squeeze, a bit of a moment, and kind of almost lost the car. But Hamilton looks like he's a bit on pace here because he's right on the back now, or jumping onto the back of Chris Taylor.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, and all the while, Benny Vintner is actually slowly making his way down the tracks. Like it was 2.8 in the prior lap, and he's managed to find another 5/10. So the Keys just got the purple lap there. So it looks like Vintner's might be able to secure a win here, his first win of the season. But yeah, Hamilton's definitely wanting to see if he can at least try and catch P1 and get past Chris here. So be interesting. Defend with your life, Chris. Do the Honda proud.
I hope Chris defends. I hope Chris goes, look, I haven't raced for 9 years. This is my bit of track. This is my land. You know, make it like a Japanese Ferrari. I don't know. Make it like something.
Yeah, it should be good. It should be good because I'm assuming these two lads are in a VC together, probably laughing away. Knowing Chris especially, he'll be absolutely loving this. So
he'll be slamming those Honda gears as absolutely hard as he could. Knowing Chris, he loves it.
If he's not saying VTEC Yo in between every gear shift or gear slam, I don't reckon he's a true Honda fan. I reckon
Off the start, he definitely was. He was launching that thing like you wouldn't believe, and he would absolutely be yelling VTEC Yo, slamming those gears.
Oh, this is looking like it might be on for a move here. Oh, he's trying.
He was going to
That's
send it
light.
inside. What a move.
There's a lot of trust.
There's a lot of
Probably.
Goes Hamilton.
Oh, but now the
Chris
Honda
did come back at
VTEC.
him. That VTEC, look at that VTEC go. Oh.
Oh,
Go on, boys. Go on.
This is
Bit of bit.
looking.
Bit.
Yeah, Chaz. This is so
go
good.
get Marshall
Chris
P2.
is going to send it down. I thought he might have sent it down the
Careful.
inside there, but he backed right out of it.
Just look at this heli shot. Look at the different lines in the wet between the Aston and the Honda. Like Chris had to take a wider line and then cut back in. And Liam was just like, what's a curb? And just plowed straight over both of them like they did next. He says Chris decides to try the Aston Strat and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, the Aston can
talking
just
to
chew
Chris.
down.
Talking to Chris earlier on in the week, I know him and I were both complaining heavily about the curbs around here. So I know he absolutely hates those curbs with a passion, and the Aston loves it. So the line's going to be very, very different as we see a little bit of a skid there from Chris. It's just the Aston just munches them up. They love it.
Jay Cobb, and I don't know who Hector is, but it sounds like he's going to have a mighty fast Honda if he's got 3 Civics with spoon engines in it and 3 T66 turbos with NOS.
I understood that reference.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I just hope that the Civic engine that they chose was a D16Y
Mate,
single cam.
All I'm saying is Chris will be joining Hector at Race Wars in the desert, and he's going to be running that spoon engine.
Right. Right, okay. I'll have to do some research on this reference.
The fact you don't get that reference baffles me, dude.
What is it?
It's the original Fast and Furious movie.
I watched it. I did. But I just don't remember movies after I watched them. I live in the moment and then forget all about them.
Look,
It's a classic name. It's a classic name.
The only thing I know is danger to manifold, and I stand by that as my racing motto. Whenever I think I'm doing too much in the car, just always make sure to take care of my manifold. That's all I do.
Yeah, but then your passenger footwell falls out the bottom, yeah?
Exactly.
Whenever the
This is
danger
a real
manifold
concern
comes
of
up.
mine. That's probably my top 3 concerns when enduro racing was, especially at Nords. Every time we'd go over that jump, I really hope my footwell doesn't fall out. Like,
I think that's what Chris is worried about at the moment with some of those curbs around here.
Yeah.
I've got a serious, important topic to bring up to you guys and Glenn and everyone in OR. Right? Your favourite pasta. Come on, let's have at it. Let's have at it.
God.
We're in Italy. We're in the land of pasta. So, come on, chat. Favorite pasta and why?
Favorite pasta.
You boys, favorite pasta and why? I'll start us off. Rigatoni.
You go. Ooh, that goes all right. I don't mind myself a nice carbonara, but sometimes the OG bolognese is where it's at.
I'm going real basic, but it's gonna make me sound like a snob, but I swear it's not. Alright, I'm not a snob. Cacio e pepe. Alright? Best. Nah. You see,
Snob.
this is why I'm never answering any of your questions again. Nah, it's done.
I want to hear. It sounds delicious. I want to hear.
No, it's literally just literally just like pasta with pecorino romano cheese, which is like I don't know how to explain, like not an expensive cheese, but it's really nice, like quite dry. And then just you cure the oil in the pan with pepper, and you basically caramelize peppercorns, and then you put the pasta and the cheese and some cream in there, and there you go. It's a very peppery, it's basically a bougie cheesy spaghetti, but with a lot of pepper. Very peppery, I guess.
That actually sounds legit. I'll give you that.
If you
Pepper and pasta
search it
is
up,
goated.
search it up.
It's goated.
Yeah, wow.
Welcome to Cooking with Josh.
What you don't realise is Josh actually has a full YouTube channel where it's just Italian recipes. So okay, so we've answered the pasta question. Now we move on to the next question, which is the pizza question.
Oh God.
Who's first off? What's your favourite pizza? And then secondly, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Okay. My favourite pizza. I'm gonna go.
Don't ever look at my recipes, please.
Race controls on it. I'm pretty simple. I like just literally margarita pizza. It's plain, it's basic, but it's cheesy. I just like cheese on pizza. Cheese and sauce, get in me. And no, absolutely not. Pineapple, bin tier on pizza, get out. Fucking nah, get out. Get out.
Well, I'll 46-4. Sorry, I'll get back to that pizza thing. But Keys is on a charge now. There's 11 minutes to go, and what is the total seconds that he's actually behind? It's not that far. He could get a podium here, which is pretty impressive.
I legit reckon he's on for a podium, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. Actually, I would like to see what Chris is lapping at currently. So we know Keys was a 46.4 and Chris is 46.8, so about 4 tenths there. So obviously the track is getting a bit quicker now, but yeah, we'll be curious. And to go back to the question, pineapple, no, it doesn't belong on pizza. No, absolutely not. And my favorite pizza, God, I don't know.
Waiting for Snob Pizza incoming.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh, wait, let me search it up. I forgot its name. It's been so long since I had it, alright? Like, I'll
This is
get
where
back to you.
Josh tells us that his favourite pizza is where he hand makes the dough from scratch by himself with the tears of Italian doves.
Yeah, so what I
the
actually
finest.
I climbed through the Italian Alps to find my dough. Yeah.
lovely.
No.
Actually, looking at the screen for a minute, where we actually have a little bit of racing on track. Tafik right up the back of Keys as well, and Keys has kind of fallen off a little bit. So, I mean, he still puts in the fastest lap, but Tafik was right up there. Liam has dropped off Vintner quite a bit, and Taylor's kind of caught back up. So, we've got less than 10 minutes of this race, but it's still all very much to play for at the moment.
And to think as well, like, so Hamilton actually hasn't gapped Chris by that much. So whether it was just he was more used to and comfortable than Chris in the conditions of it when it was a wetter track, or whether Chris is just kind of finding his mojo now, and
I actually think Liam had a moment a couple of times, particularly through this part of the track here. He got right on the brakes and got all sorts of sideways a couple of times there. So I think he was a lot closer to Vintner, and then he dropped off a couple of seconds. And you can see now that the timing board's kind of ticking down a little bit as Hamilton tries to reel him back in. So I think there's just been a couple of moments just inviting Chris back into the battle.
What's happened to Ben? Ben was higher.
Yeah,
Did Ben stop off at the Italian Henny Penny? I need to know the answers.
He definitely went through drive through
might have.
100% at Henny Penny. 100%.
I found that pizza. I did it.
The Italian
Yeah,
Henny Penny roast chicken pizza.
Yes, and the name that what Ben would have been stopping for, no doubt, is the patate or pate. I don't know. It's French, so sorry. Salsiccia, which is a spicy sausage, potatoes, mozzarella, and black pepper sprinkled with some rosemary. Thank you for coming for my cooking show.
Did you just say it's French?
So the first word is, I don't know. Salsiccia is definitely not. But I'm gonna go for a whim here and assume the first word actually is just French for potato, and salsiccia is maybe sausage. I don't know. It's a spicy sausage potato pizza. There you go.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So-
very good. Very, very good.
We just had Keys pop in the fastest lap again with a 45.9. He is now all over the back of Marshall. So, and if you're Marshall here, you're just holding your line and trying to defend for as long as possible, really. Your damage mitigation right now in your first round, and just kind of like, not getting too in over your head and just following your lines, following your gaps, and kind of trying to not pay attention to angry GDR behind you.
Yeah, he's not got to look in those rear mirrors too much, because it will just be angry GTR grill. You see a little bit of a slide there, so that'll compromise his exit just a little bit. But yeah, he's got to look forward. He can see Chris Taylor just kind of within arm's reach now, so he's got to be focused on that, while Keys is going to have to find a way past.
The battle of the Lucases. Would you call them Lucas Eyes? What would we call them?
Luke I?
Luke
Maybe?
Eyes. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a Lucas, so I don't know.
Those GDRs got him on the straight, though. That thing is mighty on a straight. To be fair, so is the Bentley, but look at that. That's rude.
It's coming out of corners, and it's like the launch of, and the straight's not long enough for the GDR to like run out of puff in a way as well. So like it gets to its top really quick, whereas it will quicker than the Bentley, obviously.
It's like that straight's like the perfect length for the GTR.
Now it's VTEC versus what is Nissan's?
It's Super GT. It's Super GT. That's what it is.
Yeah, what's Nissan's one called again? I forget. Neotech. Is it Neotech? Or their version of Valve cam.
Maybe. Maybe.
I think it's. I don't know. I mean, see, I like Euro cars, so I don't really know too much. But
I'm pretty disappointed that Keys isn't Limmy bashing this car right now. Like, the fact he's not doing it really upsets me.
I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be too upset. Didn't he blow a motor on the first race or something?
Nah, but he didn't blow a motor here. Limmy bashed him here.
That's fair.
Like, you see what I mean? Oh, Taylor gets squirrely coming out of there. Taylor's just got to make that Honda as wide as possible. Make it as wide as Italy itself.
It is.
He's making him work for it. We'll see who's got the legs down the front straight. As Chris will be yelling VTEC Yo as he bashes the gears, but I think that GTR is just going to have him and quite honestly munch him down the straight. Look at the speed of that thing as they go side by side. I don't think Chris is going to fight too hard for this one. I think Keys is just going to absolutely send that GTR right down as he does. And yeah, nice move by Keys. Easy done.
Yeah, it was a move. It was gonna happen too, as long as he got the drive coming out, but from behind Chris, and Chris has just got to tack onto the back of him, just try and follow him a bit, see if he can get up towards Hamilton a bit more, and kind of see if he can have a bit of a play into that position. But be interesting to see how fast or if he catches Hamilton. There's 3 second gap between them, 4 minutes. I'd nearly say 6 seconds in 4 minutes to get Benny Vintner's probably a bit much, but definitely Hamilton, if he keeps the laps up, could be in play.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done a little bit of background searching about what is the difference between VTEC and this Nissan one, and you can really tell why VTEC took off as a term and Nissan's one didn't. The whole word for Nissan's valve timing is Nissan ecology-oriented variable valve lift and timing, commonly known as Neo VVL. The longest.
Absolutely, Keys is yelling out Neo VVL as he goes down the straight.
He should make a Matrix car.
Oh, yeah.
The Neo car. I don't know if is that a VQ? I don't know if they come with Neo, but let's just say that, dude. Just for the interest of the battle of the vape machines.
Yes, they do. So, Race Control previously pointing out that Mr. Ben Hignett might actually be playing the 4D chess game here and getting himself in line for Race 2 pole, actually. Because we do have a second race after this one, and the top 10 automatically go through in a reverse grid order for the next race. So, he could be putting himself here in a great. He hasn't had a great race this time around. He's thought, you know what, play the 4D chess, get myself lined up for a great race 2. There he is, all by himself in the Henny Penny.
He should have stuck with the Lambo. I'm just all I'm saying.
Get out of it. Get
What are you
out
talking
of it.
about? He should have stayed in the Porsche just for us to hate on him for longer.
That's what I was busy practicing some Imola last night with them while he was deciding which car he was going to take, and I was in the Porsche and I was screaming, "Just go back to the Porsche!" And he just wouldn't listen to me. The Porsche was great, yeah.
It's because he had like Henny Penny drumsticks in his ears, and he was licking his fingers, licking all the grease off his fingers from Henny Penny that he'd gone to 3 nights beforehand. He just didn't even care. He was just ignorantly living in bliss.
This was a bit of a strange situation for Witchell here. I mean, he's definitely doesn't want to let Barker pass, but I mean, there's no really any point of. I guess there's only a minute to go, so fight up. Never mind, he'll just let them both pass. My bad. Apologise.
That is a curse.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Witchell, send your staff to jam rest.
Damn it. I didn't even get to finish my sentence. Does that count?
Yes, absolutely.
The thought was there.
Nah.
Wow.
Lockbag 9999 Crow's Nest, New South Wales for that invoice, please.
So we just seen Keys again put in the fast lap of 45.4, and he's dropped that gap to Hamilton by 1.5 seconds, down to 1.4. So he's definitely on charge on the move.
Jeez, yeah.
Vintner's holding strong in P1, so unless something happens badly, I think he can bring it home in P1. But P2 could definitely be up for grabs here with a nail-biting finish.
I mean, there would have to be some form of mistake from Hamilton, and I mean, Aston isn't prone to too many mistakes in these kind of conditions. I feel like it's a pretty stable platform. I'm going to call it a platform instead of a car. Connor, how you feel?
Yeah, you're something else, you know. You are something else.
But yeah, I mean, we're closing out this race, and it's looking like, so it does look like this strat for Ben, if it was a strat or if it's just fortunate placement, is going to work out for him with the Thircolini machine
I was about
onto
to
the
say,
front
look
row.
who's going to be on the front row with them.
so
It's going to be Takalini. Here we go.
Absolutely, that's going to be great. Then that puts, I mean, this is going to be pretty tough for Vintner and Hamilton, so they're going to be behind Keys here on a start. Now, do they just, what's your strategy going into this? You tucking in be behind Keys, especially if it's the wet, knowing that he had the ultimate pace out of all these drivers in the wet, and so you kind of got a good gauge on if you think you've got him or not, and just tuck him behind and see what you got, or do you just go for the move immediately and then try and defend him the rest of the race?
Well, I think the first thing's first, like, good win to Benny Vintner coming over the line. Hamilton folding P2, Keys for an epic charge up to P3. Taylor on his first race back, great race for P4, and Marshall in his very first sprint race in OR, hanging out of P5. That's nothing to snuff at, so everyone give him big ups there. But I don't know, I think if you're in this grid and you're the other guys, you're just letting, and you're behind Keys, you're just letting Keys be a bullet. You're just letting Keys be a missile and kind of try and charge his way through and see if you can tack on to the back and see if you can sneak through, like behind him. But then obviously it comes with most people who've done these races before. These reverse grid starts or reverse top 10s are hectic. People are going everywhere. People aren't used to being in certain spots. People aren't used to being up the front, 10th place, 15th, 7th, 5th, whatever. So everyone's kind of a bit frazzled. It's who can hold their ego and their calm the most.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, great race from Vintner. I mean, it was flawless. Didn't make many big mistakes. Pretty much was only on the screen at the very beginning, and then for a little bit midway through the race, which means he's had an awesome race. Good work on Hamilton to come through the field there. But yeah, I mean, pretty incredible stuff seeing a vehicle go from what was almost net last to P3 in a space of 30 minutes out on a track that is incredibly hard to pass, I would say. It's not an easy one, so really well done there, but super interested to see how this reverse grid works out, and then even more interested to see how the second quali goes. You know, there's some names out there that more out there because of pens and stuff, so it's still going to be a pretty hectic quali, I imagine, with people fighting for every position they can, so should be fun.
I just, like, you know, everyone pack it up, go home. Damiano, Thircolini starting from pole. Let's go.
Well, so wait, you want Ben to quit?
Yes.
Okay. Well, have you sent him a DM? You tried that. We can try and make this happen. You know.
I've sent him
He's just gonna DDoS
furiously worded letters via messenger pigeon and smoke signal. So eventually, they will get from my island to the mainland, and we will be happy. It may be after this race, but he'll know that the thought was there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thought that counts, right? I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of the main thing.
Kookaburra.
Actually, maybe by floating Tasmanian devil.
Oof.
And before you ask what that is, It's when we strap a jetpack to a Tasmanian devil.
You guys have jetpacks down there?
Mate, just specifically made for Tassie Devils.
Mate, they've got Acme rockets down there, dude. That sounds like some Looney Tunes crap.
If you could send a Tasmanian devil here to NZ, that'd be great. I'd love it. I want me a little Tasmanian devil. I think they're quite a nice animal.
You'll hear it come from across the sea. You'll hear it. They just snarl and like. I'm surprised you don't hear it already.
I wanted to follow up with something. I'm not even gonna.
Go on.
Family friendly. No, because this is family friendly. All right.
Damn, that's...
we've got the quali has begun. 6 minutes and 32 seconds left of qualify 2. Look at them. They haven't left each other in a lot of space out there, that's for sure. But it is a green track, so probably deceptive coming from a wet track or a damp track onto a green track, thinking that there might be a whole bunch more grip, and there might be, but they're still not straight off to default optimum track lapping. So we might see some people washing wide here and dipping wheels in some sand.
Yeah, they'll be going hell for leather, that's for sure. Like I said, there's a couple of front-running names up there that have unfortunately found themselves in Quali 2, so they'll be doing everything they can to get themselves into 11th, 12th, and so on in order to try and give themselves the best opportunity to follow some of those front-runners through the pack.
Definitely. Although I think the Fords are pretty nice around here as well. I don't know if there's any. Oh, you like the Ford, don't you, Connor? Tried it around here?
I do indulge in a Ford. No, I actually haven't tried it around here, so
okay.
I couldn't tell you. I'd imagine it'd be okay. Like, it'd be fine.
I was going to say, does it take the cabs all right? Because it looks like it would.
I'd imagine.
Apparently, I mean, like, the people were raving about it at the Enduro 12 hour. I reckon it was a great Enduro car. So it must have been somewhat forgiving over the curbs. Otherwise, I couldn't imagine people calling it a great car for 12 hours around here, because you've got to love the curbs, yeah, if you want to race around here for a long time.
What if you simply just glide over the curbs?
Yeah, where are the Mercs at, you know? I want to see more. I want to see more Mercedes. Give me Mercedes. We need to see them.
I actually would be interested to see what times they start putting in when people start coming around for their valids in green 12-12 conditions. So
we put bets on right now. I'm saying 141 high 141.
I'll go 140.8.
Whoa! But like this first lap.
Ooh, I'm gonna go 141.8.
I'm saying first lap.
Okay, first lap 141.3. There we go, done.
Nah, I think it'll be in the 42s. 42s for the first lap.
Damn! Nah. There we go. I mean, this is looking pretty slow out there, so there's definitely not a lot of grip on that track then. They're going to warm it up. They're warming up the track. It's 12 degrees out there.
I'll just be the 42s. Told you to be the 42s, but I reckon we'll see a 41.8. I reckon we'll see a 41.8 as top time. 41.3 by Page as well, you reckon? So, I mean, it depends, because I only got, technically maybe two more laps than this. It is 12C, though, so those cars are going to be absolute bullets down the straight. But, yeah, green. I wonder if it just switches over to fast for the last lap. I wonder if this is going to be a case of whoever's out there the longest or manages to time it just right is the winner. Yeah. It'll get faster, but I don't think it'll go too fast. If I recall in our session, ours stayed green and our race started in green. So it's true. I mean, it's 8 a.m. so no temp change. I imagine the track progression's slow. Rubber down. I don't think it's going to change too much, to be honest.
Well, No, it depends, because like the Kunos stuff can be weird and janky on the best of days, but
Feature.
yeah,
It's a Kunos feature.
I don't know. I don't know. I just maybe they might. So like McAdam has a 41 in it if he can keep it together on track. Yoda is gonna come around. He's probably been hampered a bit by, is it Barker in front of him? Probably Barker in front of him.
Yeah, I think I'd say that's Barker.
He's been hampered a little bit, but he did a 42.2. Hill's put in a 42.1, so it'd be interesting to see how they improve. Going into the session, yeah, he's bleeding a bunch of time there. Pascal Armstrong third, 42.3.
If I was Witherburn now, I'd back off knowing that he crossed the line with enough time to do one more. Just build up, just abort that other lap, and just build up some space now for that final lap.
Yeah, I suppose he's got enough
time.
How much time did he cross with?
I think it looked like about 10 seconds, so he can give himself like a 5-second gap and then get back on the gas, which is all he really needs. He doesn't need more than 5 seconds, so yeah. Hopefully he's gonna do that, and so we can see some close racing here. But I mean, look at this, the time split's still pretty close overall there. Pretty good to see. Pasca on the old controller. We need to create a GoFundMe for Pascal Armstrong. Get that fella on a wheel. So look at the damage he does on a controller. Imagine the stuff he could do with a wheel.
Get him on the Logitech generator as Pascal Armstrong. Yeah, it's that controller force feedback.
That was all controller. Yeah. It's not his fault, that. Oh, 41.7. Close to 41.8.
Oh, there we go.
they're still circling though. That's 5 tenths clear.
The track will still be ramping up a little bit, so
He was going to be on it. He was dropping this 41.3. I'm telling you.
Who's crossing the line last though? Who's 347? They're literally going to cross with like 1 second. Oh no, 6 seconds to go. Smith. So Smith is on here. He just really needs to not think about the fact that he's got everything to lose.
Here we go. He'll be the last one to cross.
I'm sure Smith is not sweating and doesn't have the entire eyes of OR on him. This is an absolutely normal, valid lap. Let's go.
Yeah. No curses here. Go on.
Blessing. Here we go.
Go on, get in there. Get in there, you green
Come on,
Bentley.
Smithy. Let's go. You can do this, buddy. You're up in the green. You got this, mate. There's absolutely no pressure.
Oh.
Yeah, the times have been looking very varied at the moment. There's a yellow flag up ahead.
There we go. They found some time here. Here we go.
Found Bishops off.
And through here, there'll be more grip here now.
Come on.
Come on.
Oh, no, get that. Don't you go down time. Delta, you stay up there.
If he's going to invalidate, it's going to be on the second curb of this chicane. It's always the second curb. It's the devil. Oh no.
41.4 for Hill.
41.4.
Yeah, so Smith is he's definitely not going to find 1.1 seconds.
Hey,
but he can find some time. Can he jump up into the P3 slot? Oh,
come on, keep that Zelda. Oh,
that's maybe P4. Maybe P4.
Might jump up a spot.
It's going to be so close.
4, 2, go.
100th in it.
And McAdams managing to just drop up into P2 in the final seconds.
So,
and
what a quality.
Finishes quality, yeah. Keeping in mind that this is a reverse grid top 10 sprint race. So the top 10 finishes of race 1 will be reversed. They will go out first, and then the quali 2 guys will follow them. Will be a little bit of a delayed start based on all the fun Kunos things when we have rearranging grid orders at the start. But as kind of mentioned earlier, reverse grid, always a hectic, exciting start. There will be chaos.
With rain in 10. Rain in 10.
Intensifying in 30. Wow. So
They're going, what are they? They're going to nurse some wets or they're just staying on the dries?
what
are we doing?
That's going to be tough. That is.
Are we seeing pit
tough
stops?
call.
We might see pit stops.
Because that rain marker there is, it says it's in 10 minutes. That rain could appear anywhere between now and 10 minutes time. They could literally be halfway through their formation lap and drops start falling on the windshield. So that, I'm not envious of their position at the moment, because that you'd have to start on the dries. There's no way that you could get round on wets long enough to get it to. But to have
tree moving in the background, that looks like a lot more than 1 kilometer of wind. That tree's moving like it's,
Reckon 1.6.
1.6.
1.6.
No, I know my windage with trees. I reckon that's at least 20 kilometers of wind, bro.
Do you reckon looking at it?
I'm looking.
Looking at it, do you reckon those
There
leaves?
it is. No, there it is. The rain has just started. Rain has. Am I looking at that right?
You're looking at the distance where there's like little poles. Yeah. It does look like that.
This is just shimmer off the weird fencing off the back. Yeah,
Paige reckons you start dries like you said, Fluky. So
apparently,
this is where you need a good set of intermediates.
Regret not practicing pit stop entries, Chris Taylor.
There's no way. There's no way you can go out on wets and make them nurse. But in 10 minutes, it will be heavier. So that little 30-minute marker where we saw it was going to be medium rain has now just moved into the 10-minute bracket. So you've got to start on dries. There's no way you can get wets to last long enough.
How many DTs are we seeing people smoking their pit stop braking line? Because I wouldn't imagine many people practice for the scenario.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not trying to bug everyone out here, but I kind of hope we see at least like four people just and not even slightly smoke it, like full smoke it, like
no, just full DQ. That'd be terrible. That would be so terrible. I feel so bad for them. God, I'm excited though. This means that this little 30-minute race now has some intense strat to it. I reckon we're gonna.
Who's going to
see
stay out
someone's? Surely they just fully stay out on the dries. Go on, someone do us a solid. Do some drifting.
Someone's going to stay out. Someone's going to stay out as long as they can on the dries. Who's that person going to be?
It has to be an Aston driver. That's my call. I know it's going to be Aston, and that's all I know.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. I reckon Vinton is just going to wait until everybody else pits, try and do an extra lap or two, and then jump in. Oh, he's already on wet tires. What? Oh
God!
No.
That's brutal. This could, if this pays off though. Who else? So dry. Wow. Okay. So he's on the alternate strat. We'll call it the alternate strat.
Definitely gone for the ultimate strat. We've got a couple other wets towards the back there. Beaton's on wets.
I mean, there's another factor coming in here. If Vintner uses something like ACC Drive, he might have got more of an accurate reading.
That's true. Like I said, that those raindrops could start any time between now and that 10-minute mark. So if he gets raindrops in the first lap, he could be on here. But
and Hill on wet as well. Okay. This is
about a third. What looked like the third of the grid. Third of the grid on wet.
Yeah, and then some of them are contenders for the front spots as well. So I mean, we've got contenders on dries and wets, which is cool to see what's going to happen there, and just see throughout the whole grid actually what is going to happen here.
This is a real roll of the dice, because like if that rain doesn't come until the 10-minute mark, it's probably going to be, yeah, if it doesn't come towards that like 8, 9, 10-minute mark, as Vintner decides that his tyres are already hot and he needs to cool them off in the grass.
Yeah.
No, where did he go? He just drove off.
I guess you're taking us. Oh, it's raining now.
It's raining.
What a call.
It's raining
what
now.
A call.
Cool.
Who's taking
All right,
away
take
race
us away,
start?
Fluky. Fluky,
Go
you've
on.
got us for the race.
Okay, so we've got us for the race start here. It's going to come down to the main straight. It will be a delayed start. We've got the Heady Petty Ferrari of Betcher and Hignett in front, followed by Turcolini in the Porsche. Go you, good thing. Squires in a Mustang. King in the Aston, needing to fill up that gap just a little bit. Tafik, Content coming in 5th in the Ferrari. Race start has initialized. We've got Chris Taylor. Marshall, Taylor, Keys, Hamilton, Vintner. It's green, 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 and they are going. You can see Keys and Hamilton already all over the back trying to make a move. There's a coming together here of Hignett and Turcolini. Turcolini's going to try and send it around the outside into turn 1. He's going to have the inside for turn 2. He's over the curbs. There's a little bit of bump and grind up the back there between Keys and Liam Hamilton. It looks like they're going to go single fire. There's a big whack from Weatherburn has murdered a couple of people. I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether he just got up on the curbs or what the deal was there, but unfortunately, I think we saw a little bit of... and the safety car has been deployed. I thought we were on for a clean start there, guys, but there was a little bit of argy-bargy. I don't know what else is going up the field. It looked like the top 10 had managed to just sort themselves out and gone single file. Is this the opportunity? Yes, this will be the opportunity for those dry tyre runners, I think, to jump into the pits and try and mitigate as much as they can. I think the safety car will probably come in this lap. So it'll be a little bit of a loss to those running on dries, but it is already greasy out there. So that damp track status is not too far away. But what a gamble for the guys who have put on wet tyres. This is absolutely playing into their hands, something fierce.
Yeah, definitely. I hope not too many of those people in the back of the grid picked up damage that were on the wets here, because the guys at the back there, they could be in for massive gains here if they have managed to stay out of contact and don't need to come to the pits to repair. So I think Jeff Beaton, I think he was on wets as well, from memory. So too sure. Yeah, that Mustang isn't looking happy. That light blue one's got damage for sure. Oh no!
Oh, there's a bit of death up the back under safety car. Yeah. Just
Go on, stagger people, stagger.
Please.
No need for any of that.
Shimmy, move! Yeah, come on. They need to hopefully, like by now, most people should have done a safety car kind of restart and know that like your damage is on. And
here they go. They are. I think this is where Hill and Vintner possibly masterclass this. Look, Keys is going to stay out. Hill's going to stay out. Vintner's going to stay out. Was Keys? I don't think Keys was on wets, was he?
Keys isn't on wets, so is he just going to try and take track position and in the dries?
Technically,
so Keys is on dries.
Whoa!
You can see how it worked for him, as he just goes, you know what? Third one doesn't exist.
I wonder if that's the dries kicking in or not kicking in. Maybe, I don't know.
Those dries would be so cold under safety car. He'd have absolutely zero temperature in them at the moment. They would be a dark blue on the HUD.
Is it still greasy though? Because if it's greasy, they're still the better tire. It really depends on how fast this starts to ramp up. It's damp still, technically, depending on which side of damp. Dries perform pretty well still. Keys is on wets apparently.
Oh, it is on wets. Okay.
So there we go. So I mean, absolutely played the field there. Great Great call. The old race engineers back at in Keys' paddock have done an incredible job there. It's showing dry, but
Yeah, no, Gorilla Snapper has confirmed in chat that we put keys on wets, so...
unless Keys did not listen to his race engineers...
I just say that was a misjudge of turn 1 after the safety car restart, so... yeah, top plays to the top guys that are still out there at the moment. They've taken the gamble. I mean, like, look at Weatherburn. He was back at the bottom of the field. He's now already back into the top 10 for taking wets at the start. So it just goes to show how much of a loss those top runners have lost for staying out on the dries. So
absolutely, we're going to see blue flags this race because of this. It's going to be
potentially.
hectic.
Yeah, there's every chance you're going to see quite a few blue flags. These guys who have done called the strat on the wet straight up though, like Mars class by like was it about 9 of them, 8 of them?
Yeah.
Yep. You see Tocolini's there in 11th, actually jumping Hignett in the pits by a second. So Tocolini practiced his pit stops clearly. He has done what Mr. Hignett cannot do, and is leading the quote-unquote dry runners who started off on the dry tyre. But there's a lot of work for them to catch up, and it looks like it's just going to be rain for this entire race. So it's an unfortunate strategy call that really was just a roll of the dice. I think anybody here, you just would have eeny, meeny, miny, mowed it between dries and wets. I mean, I personally would have picked dries, and I would have lost out 100% in this situation. So,
what does this mean for the championship, though? Because look at what McAdam was, one of those wet gamblers. Because he didn't have a good first showing, did he? The first race.
No.
So does this equal things out? Because Hamilton's now P17.
Potentially. Yeah, no, absolutely. If Hamilton can't get himself back into the top 10, it's a huge points variance there. That'll absolutely set the championship on fire going into the final round.
And we know McAdam's pretty good in the wet. Like we've seen him. Which I think there was a wet race. I forget which one it was. It's this season where he won it. I feel like. So he could definitely do it again. But Keys is out there in front in the mighty Datsun, who loves the rain apparently. So be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Where does Keys sit in relative terms of the championship? Like, can he still have an effect or play on winning the championship?
Hey, that's a good question. I really don't know. Try and find that information though. That's what I can do quickly. There we go. So we are green. Keys is P3, but he's about 57 points off currently. Well, before tonight. So yes, he actually can.
Yeah, because the winner here gets 60 or so points for
75, I think, because it's half points.
Oh, it's 75. You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
So if there's only a 50-point difference, if Keys gets 75, and
plus the purple laps. Oh, do they?
Yep.
Are the purple laps counted in this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So
okay. Yep.
If Liam can't get himself up there, that'll be a huge points haul. Considering they were only separated by one position in the lap before.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that'll then also further. I mean, because it's Bathurst next race after this, so I mean, it's going to incentivize if Keys stays out in front, and Keys knows he's in for a shot at the championship. I'd imagine that he's going to absolutely sweat for the Bathurst quali, and I think all of these other drivers will know that as well. So there will be some very many sweat sessions going on this coming week if the race standings stay like this until the very end. I mean, this does really shake things up. But it will, yeah, I mean, even McAdam's at risk. I think because Key's P3 and a P1 now with both purple laps, that's a massive points. I think that's enough to push him ahead of Hamilton at this current standing. So I don't know if they'll know that though. You know, we'll if you're Hamilton, are you even thinking about those calculations at these times? Are you just trying to survive now? You know, like, does he know what's at stake and so on
I
and so
don't think
forth?
he's thinking of the championship right at this moment too hard. I think he's just trying to. Ooh, Lucas, 10-second penalties for 10-second penalty for causing a collision. I don't
Lap
think we saw
one.
that, did we?
No, I did not.
Maybe potentially hit someone under
Safety car?
safety car, potentially.
Must have. Oh no, lap one. Yeah, there was some carnage before the safety car, so might have been some elbows out. Here we go,
So-
McAdam on hill,
Oh, look at that!
and he's gets it done. And now Vintner's on the charge as well, so Hill's now falling down the order, and he's got Dylan Smith in the background there waiting as well. So here we go. We can see those two British boats. Absolutely love these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I wonder if we can get a so Keys has really got to drive super hard to pretty much outdrive that penalty. I mean, like, he could do it. He's already 4 seconds up on McAdam. But
He doesn't have long to go.
yeah, 19 minutes. It'll be a bit touch and go, I reckon. So we'll say around 4.2 now. If I was these guys here, like, I wouldn't be fighting. Like, I'd just be trying, just whatever you could to just drag in that gap.
Yeah, but racing drivers and gap car, it's just bred into them. They'll be trying to get past each other as best as they can to try and close that gap. So as much as you'd think they'd want to help each other at this point in time, it's a very different story when you're inside that cockpit.
Definitely. See the Aston in a tow here. What's it all about?
Will it outdrag the Bentley?
Yeah, it's pretty quick up to its top speed, so it's got great acceleration, just like the Bentley. Well, not acceleration from down low, but once it gets going, the thing's...
It didn't gain down the straight much at all, did it?
No.
Oh, as Vintner gets a bit wide there on the grass, look out. You definitely don't want to be playing out there too much, especially in these kind of conditions. McAdam 4.5 behind, so yeah, interesting to see. Just look at how much the field's already spread out from like the choices at race start. Like,
Absolutely. Is that Chris? It's a yellow flag currently at the chicane? Is that the chicane?
Please, no.
Yeah, it is.
it is.
It is
It
Chris.
is madness.
Nah, sweet baby boy, Chris. What happened?
We will cry a few tears for Chris. He's
Mm.
also
saying
slammed one too many gears through the floor.
The footwell has fallen out over one of those curbs, and we do have damage to manifold. But another one, Turcolini down into 14th, so he was in front of Hignett there not too long ago. So not sure what's happened to him. He is all over the back of Hamilton, so hopefully he can keep it going. Oh, looking at the Mustang behind Taylor here of Armstrong.
Penalties are rolling through now, so I guess the stewards are big drift on the curve there. But yeah, I wonder if I guess the stewards had a lot of work to do after the first lot that caused the safety car call, and then here we go. This is a second curb incident. Yes. No. Oh no.
That's some dangerous times there.
Yeah.
Great avoidance from everybody else, because imagine you just coming around and suddenly there's a Honda face facing right towards you.
Absolutely.
Brutal. But split green, sorry, doing a little bit better than yellow in the penalty department. I think yellow had a few penalties in the last race of theirs.
I always appreciate yellow
hectic.
stance, though. You know, they're the guinea pigs for the league. The first ones out there go test out all the theories. Everyone's got eyes on them, and then they go and they test them out and show us what works and what doesn't, and then we go, okay, well, we won't do that. And so they'll be testing out all the overtake maneuvers.
Oh, he spooked him.
The
He spooked
mind
him.
punt.
Right now, I don't blame Red at that point. At that point, I was just like, I'm getting out of the way of that sideways Honda. And now
Rad's
Chris is
seeing
going
the
down the front
sideways.
straight. He's just yelling VTEC go.
Rad was scared, flew off the track from the sideways NSX. He's like, I don't want to bar of that smoke.
We see we've got another replay going on. So what's happened here? We've got Ben on Turkolini. They've gone side by side into turn one. Ben around the outside. He's going to the inside for the next corner. And it's just the slightest of taps that's put Turkolini offline. He's gone on the grass, and that field is so total. Chris was almost into the back of him, and unfortunately for Turkolini, he's kind of low. He's going to keep his nose up on the inside there. The space was given on Tafik, which was great. I'm surprised they survived. That train is just so close together that the smallest mistake there has just cost him about 5
McAdam in the pits. What's going on there?
McAdam's in the pits. He was on wets. Was he not?
That's not good for his championship standings at all.
What has happened?
Did he have a penalty or anything? Or
No penalty that I was aware of. Unless he picked. I mean, did we miss a DT for him? Did he get track limits? Maybe.
No, surely not.
Okay, so I mean, maybe it was for tires. Interesting.
Unless he hasn't fueled up, he's realised that he hasn't put enough in the tank.
You'd
Anybody
think
in
you'd
chat?
use less in the win.
Anybody in chat who's in McAdam's camp? Please let us know.
Wrong pressures. Oh no, that's question mark. Wrong
That was a
pressure.
question
Okay.
mark, and we don't know.
I mean, that's a good guess as well. To be fair, it could be.
Could have accidentally put his dry pressures in, like the switch to wet, and not made any modifications. Yeah, Peach, I thought it might have been potentially quali fuel and didn't fuel up enough.
Content stop, maybe. Yeah. He just wanted
some of that. He just wanted some of that Josh Holmes pasta on the way through.
Oh, I don't blame him. Cacio Pepe all the way. I mean, now that he's well fed on Cacio Pepe, he will. It is what it's called. Don't turn this into that frog. You know the frog's all right, but the pasta is just better. All right, it's good. You've got to try it. If you guys haven't had it, search it up. It sounds fancy. It's actually so easy to make. Shameless plug for the Cacio Pepe. All right.
What if I want you to make it for me?
Come down to Wellies, bro.
Yeah,
I'll cook it for all you guys. What? Well, I mean, if you pay for my flights, of course, it'll be the most expensive pasta dish of your life, but I'll cook it gladly for all of you guys. I'll probably even pair it with a nice wine. You know, if you let me. If you guys drink, it's
You heard it here first. Everyone, dinner at Jamwise's house tomorrow night. There's a Ferrari off to the side of the road. You can't park there, sir. He's had a bad time going into Aqua Minerale. So definitely see what happens there. Hill's just kind of chilling in fourth, minding his own business. He has Smith a bit up the road. Squires, we are on the front of Squires here, and he has a Aston all over the back of him. And is this blue flag? Blue flag territory? These guys?
I think that's blue flag. I think that's blue flag territory because that's a very banged up Oh, that actually could be Foster. No, I think that was Foster. I think Foster's got a bit of a banged up McLaren there. I think that might have actually been for position. And I think Squires just took that spot from King down the straight. So, yeah, Squires up into a couple of positions here.
Look at the time.
That was definitely Foster because he's now getting onto the back of Hignett. So Foster's had a bit of an oopsies somewhere because that is one damage. It is damaged, right? It's not just the livery making it look like it's got floppy bonnet there. It is looking, it's looking a bit. How you going?
Look at the time Keys has managed to get now. Oof. Unhappy.
Oh, that's an unhappy McLaren, that's for sure.
Oh, he's got to be careful here as the others looking to try and push their way through. Marshall coming up on, well, it looks to be Hamilton, and he might get it done here. Hamilton went for an unfortunate line, but now I'm assuming Hamilton's going to send a cheeky dive, and he looks for it, but so is Marshall.
Whoa.
Definitely not driving like a debut rookie, you know. That is out there absolutely laying down moves and fighting with currently P2 in the championship. So awesome stuff from Lucas Marshall there.
Yeah, definitely. Supplanting kind of a bit of authority that he's here, and even though he's just come out of rookies, he's here to stay and he can mix it with everyone. So that's good to see, though. It shows that, people who can come from rookies can definitely develop and learn and get better and mix it up.
Definitely. It looks like he is on his way to speed run himself into what I'm assuming they'll chuck him in silver and then let him go from there. But he's doing incredible. Well done. If he watches this back, well done, Lucas. You've done your mother proud and your father. That was another.
We just cursed him. He's just gone flying off the track.
I wonder if they're back on Tatooine or not.
Oh, surely.
Have to be. Be.
This is what like top tier pod racing right here, right now. Surely.
At least pod racing.
At least you got the reference, Jam, so you do know some movies.
I do know some. There is.
You got this one.
He's already in pro apparently, so he just elect to put himself there. Mans was confident, and he knew what his worth was, and he clicked the white badge. Awesome stuff. Marshall was definitely not a rookie in Imola practice races. He was doing front of pro pace. Well, awesome. Good stuff. Well, I'm guessing we'll be seeing a lot more of him up at the front there in the pointy end.
But, I think that evidence here is truly in the pudding. He's putting on a great display, as we've just seen.
That looked like a yield.
Did he yield?
It looked like it. Didn't even...
Or did the Aston just out-drag him down the straight?
I mean, that was... I don't know. It was pretty intense. It was comfortably past within. Okay, so he's raced in OR before, so this is not his debut. I've been. What am I doing? I should have done my background. We should have searched through all the archives. Why did Glenn not tell me? God, Glenn. No, I'm joking. I like Glenn.
Deep into the OOR history books. As we see another sweet slide.
Oh, that's not the line.
That's the esports line.
Yeah, it's a lot of paint there that I wouldn't want to touch. This is
good.
It's not you, Glenn. It's me. It's on me. It's my bad. Has Keys cleared that 10 seconds?
I was literally about to look up. He's just cleared the 10-second mark. So at this point in time, Keys will, as we see all sorts of chaos happening behind him in the blue flags, he will hold P1 at this point in time. You got Benny Vintner down in second place, so he's got a first and second through his races this round. He's absolutely loving life here on a wet Imola track, so looking good for him. Dylan Smith up in third. Looking very good for him, leading silver class at this current time.
Weather burn after the spins back in P6 because of the right call he made with the tyres. So
so great recovery.
Yeah,
if you want to count it as a recovery from him, it's a great effort. He's a little bit further down the order. We've got McAdams, who was running up with these wet runners, but had to pit for a reason that is yet to be confirmed. I'm putting my bets on fuel. And then Hignett, who was the lead runner of the group I'll call the dry runners, who gambled dry tyres at the start of the race. He's up in 8th position, with Squires not too far behind him, with a big train of King, Tafiq, Liam not too far down the road, and Marshall not too far behind him as well. So all to play for to keep it into the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of tight battles going on here going into the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see if they get a bit nudgy and a bit bargy in the last 4 minutes. It's still it's still good drives to get back to where they were. Probably looking back on it, there'd probably be a few sour taste buds in terms of like they should have made a different strategy call. But that's where hindsight comes in. Yeah, and you learn and you move on from it.
That's it. Hindsight's 20/20 at the end of the day. So if you didn't make the right call, it's unfortunate, but you just got to do the best that you can and hope that other things fall in your favour later on.
Never move on from it. Just think about it. Go back to wake up every morning. Think about the mistake you made, and it's the only way to really learn from it is just to punish yourself for years to come. And that's how I approach my sim racing stuff, to keep it fun and light and
we really
sustainable.
We really do have balanced opinions up here in the OOI com box. I'm glad we represent all viewpoints across the board. I feel like it's a real angel devil on your shoulder kind of moment here. It's just like, yep, learn from it, move on, don't worry about it too much, straight into revel in this. This is your mistake.
I'll be the middle ground between you two, okay? I'll be the middle ground, and these three opinions represent the entirety of OR.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It represents everyone.
And the third opinion is that pineapple does not belong on pizza. Let's go! Hamilton! To the back of Tafiq!
No! They both
scared him! Oh, come on, he scared him! Oh, look at that, mind punched him. Tafiq couldn't believe it. Tafiq was like, I don't believe in pineapple off of pizza! And he's gone off the track!
That's it. He was too busy listening on the broadcast and was offended by your statements there, Connor, and just couldn't keep focused on the road.
He says the Ferrari's slow on the straight, so we'll be keen to see. I mean, it looks like he's correct. Just by watching that, I was hoping to be proved wrong, but it did look. Great exit there. That's it. Oh wow, I don't know about. Yeah, wise decision.
He's played the smart move there
by a wise man. Looking at Hamilton's almost back in that top 10. He's got about 3 seconds to find, but still, that is not good for his championship charge that he was on. The only saving grace about this situation is that McAdam is currently P7, even though he technically made the right call on tyres and hasn't got a penalty, but he did get a penalty in the first race here. So McAdam's overall round is going to be a low-scoring round this round, but Keys has had almost a flawless round this round. So, yeah, I mean, that's So that's pretty interesting. I'm keen to see what happens in the championship, and I'm pretty sure if you go back, future me or past me, if you play a game of you drink every time I say round in that last 3 minutes, you'll be absolutely done. By the way, I just realised how many times I said round, and I've just added some more to it.
I'm already done.
Oh no!
Was that Barker and Rad coming together back there?
Get out the Milwaukee Power Tools. It's time to get your main sponsor out here, Barker, because Dad looks like he'll need a bit of repairing, mate.
Oh no, there's another one.
That is, I wonder what happened there. I wonder if we could quickly maybe get some eyes on that, because what? Working on it. We're working on it. Good. So yeah, we'll get some eyes on that. See what happened there. Hopefully not too much damage for both, that they can just survive another lap, which would be very good.
Yep. So this will be the final lap of the race. The timer is 0-0. So with only half a lap to go, I think Keys. Oh, here comes the replay. Here we go. We got Rad. Looks like Barker's got a poor exit. Rad's just going straight into the back of him. I wonder, did Barker come across there? Is that what's happened? Is Rad's just got the run and then Barker's just come across? Or did Rad just look down at his watch for a second?
I don't know. It's going to be the steward's pay bracket. Determines that one.
He's taking the old extra line.
The esports line.
Look at that beautiful livery.
It does look good. That looks really good.
Modal. That looks great. We love that. We love to see that.
15 seconds. Wow. So he's cleared
the field. Yeah. He's outrun that penalty. So Lucas Keys will come round the final corner right now. He's going to send it. Is he going to send it sideways? No, he's not. He's going to. No, yes, he has.
Yeah.
It's the JGR things. He comes across the line, and he comes across the line in P1. Well done. He's outrun that penalty. He will hold on to that position. He will be happy about the call he's made there. Vintner coming across the line in second place. Would be feeling fantastic about tonight's round, having a first and second. Cannot get much better than that. Dylan Smith, first silver class. First in silver class, comes across in third, followed right behind him by Mr. Graham Hill, another one of the gamblers who took wet tyres, and then Andy Bishop coming across the line in fifth and leading Pro-Am class. He will be stoked with that one. We got a flappy bonnet here from Mr. Jacob Weatherburn. But
oh no!
He's going to lose out to McAdams in the second to last quarter, so it will actually be McAdams who comes across the line in sixth place, and a very second-hand looking Mustang of Weatherburn coming across the line in P7, but based on the start that he had, he can't be too upset with that one. And then here we have the first of the dry pickers from the start of the race, Mr. Benjamin Hignett in the Henny Penny Ferrari. He will come across the line in. I thought he was going to go in the pits there for a second.
My.
He did that. He did that to me on purpose. I bet he did that to me on purpose. So he'll come across the line in eighth, followed by Dylan King in ninth, Mr. Too Fig Too Furious himself in 10th, Liam in 11th, Marshall doing a fantastic job managing to keep it in 12th, Squires in 13th, Taylor in 14th, Turcolini in 15th, and the rest of the field has disappeared.
I mean, that was a great racing round for Vintner. I mean, P1 and P2.
Very, very consistent.
He's the highest scorer of that round, so he's going to be absolutely stoked with that. But yeah, keen to see what it means for the grand finale at Bathurst, which is probably where we're going to see some pretty foul pace. It's going to be disgusting the amount of pace we'll see some of the cars doing there, especially with the upcoming 12-hour. Yes, it is 2 months away, but it would not surprise me if people already put in laps for that track.
Who would be doing that?
Who would do that, Connor? Who would do that?
Who would do that? Who would do that?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yep.
Well, let's run through the race 2 results. So Keys put it in the P1, good drive coming back there. Vintner in P2, Smith in P3 rounds out your overalls. We jump to silver. Smith takes out the silver win, followed by King, Squires, and Thurkalini in P4. Jumping to Pro-Am, Bishop takes out the win in a solid P5 too, followed by Rad in P2 and George in P3. And then sorry, George. And then we round out with the M class with Foster in P1 and Nur Hassan in P2. Well, that was definitely 2 different rounds, 2 different results in terms of both races. What are your thoughts, boys?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
really
That was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Who giving driver of the both rounds, both races? Who's the driver of that?
I'm going to give mine to Mr. Chris Taylor, I think. I think he's done a fantastic job jumping straight back into the Honda and putting it into some prime positioning there. He did really well in the first race. And was only just really caught out by the dry tyre decision in the second race and managed to hold on to it pretty well. So I'm going to give it to him for tonight.
Alrighty. Connor?
I got to give it for both rounds to Vintner. Solid, consistent. P1, P2, overall points winner for the round. Can't fault it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think that was pretty top showing from Vintner. And it all looked like it was all clinical out there for him. Planned out, knew exactly what he was going to do, especially with the weather situation as well. So, yeah, really, really good round, but also a equally insane round somewhat for Keys to come back from behind the pack and be the second highest scoring driver of the night. So was an awesome round. Was really cool to watch, really cool to see. So much going on in just 2 small 30-minute race formats. So I had a lot of fun, blokes, and thank you for having me in the box with you guys, and it's been a pleasure as always. I look forward to next week at Bathurst especially. That's going to be great to commentate on. Maybe I'll slander Bathurst for a bit, seeming as you did it to my home country's track. But yeah.
So Josh won't be joining us next week in the box. It'll just be Connor and myself. We look forward to next week's round, and thanks for everyone tuning in. Don't forget to like the video on the way out, and we'll all catch you next time.
Awesome. Thanks all.